In full force, the Celtics handled the Heat yesterday, 114-94. The Clippers win against the Mavs without Kawhi. It took them down easy, 109-97. The Bucks stomped on the Pacers, 109-94. And in the thriller of the day, the Thunder took down the Pelicans, 94-92. The Rangers salvaged their series 6-4 against the Braves, and the Astros dropped 2 or 3 against the Washington 6-0 yesterday.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. There is a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Look very closely on your device and you'll see the Man U adorned RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Together we form the Morning Huddle. We're glad you're here. Easy E driving this boat, though. Easy E today is facing a rather daunting task this morning, RJ, which, by the way, first of all, how are you, my good friend? How was your weekend?
It was immaculate.
I missed your body.
It was incredible. I promised the listeners that I was going to put together a swing set for my son.
And
it rained, so I did not get to do that. It wasn't laziness that precluded me from it. It was Mother Nature. But it's pretty good.
You've shuffled the deck. You've redecorated. What was the reason behind you? Just a little spring cleaning? You've altered.
Yes.
This is my cue for everybody to go to your device. Watch us on YouTube, and you'll see the new decorating. And this is not coordinated. We're doing some stuff here at the studio. You have redone the Blogging the Boys Palace.
Yeah, I just needed some extra room on the desk in the command center, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at now. I feel
you need something to your right, up on the wall, like a picture of me.
Well, that's on
like
the
like a Saddam Hussein kind of, like
wow.
you're fearless, you're emperor, kind of a.
Have you ever likened yourself to him?
Often.
Oh,
in my house anyway.
Right.
In my neighborhood, it's a lot like Iraq. I'm a despot.
You have some new earbuds.
I do. I've gone big time. I went and invested for the very first time in my radio career, which has spanned now 2 centuries, or at least late into one, early to the other. I've never gone with just earbuds. I've always been a cans man, and I mean that in a lot of different ways. And I have. This is the first vain thing a radio guy has ever done. And yet another acknowledgement into the modern day digital influencer that I am so proud to be. Morning, Pumba. I got these earbuds because the cans were messing with my hair, man. But I'll be real. They were messing with my. I had headphone head all the time, and I would leave here with meetings and stuff, and I always felt like I looked like I'd just taken off my football helmet, like I'd just come out of practice. So I invested in some, these are like made for musicians, and they're like, and they go into my ear, and I'll tell you what, in the 3 minutes that I've been using them,
you can sense the difference.
This is a 5-star. They feel good. They're noise canceling. They've got the bass seems pretty good. Sing for me real quick so I can see how the highs sound, how the twitters.
No, we got to get there naturally.
Oh, okay. So at some point you'll sing for us?
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry about the swing set.
I mean, I don't know why you're sorry. I didn't have to work for.
See, I was when you told me you were putting together the swing set, and I was on vacay for a wasted vacation. But Fiesta has begun. I got time. When you told me about the swing set, all I could reflect on was my history with swing sets, and it wasn't good, or all backyard play equipment. I would spend, we'd go to other places. And the same swing set would be, my gosh, my kids, we couldn't get them off. Just wherever we were, we couldn't get them home. They'd come home, 2 boys, like you'd think on a jungle gym or a swing set or a slide, whatever. Come home, buy the very same thing that they begged to go play at Jimmy's house every time. And then I get it, and we put it together. They're play on it one time. And about 5 years later, after, 5 summers of 110 degrees of degradation, and by the time the ropes are now cracking and falling apart, I finally sell it in a yard sale for like $8.
Yeah, I've
I've not
thought
had
about
luck.
already. Moving on from it will be difficult.
It
You
w-
know what I mean?
You're
But
committed, man. You're in. I just hope that you have better results from it than I did. I mean, I always felt like, man, I should just go out and play on it. I got my own
you
fort.
you mentioned that you were out for a couple of days.
Yeah, I took a little vacay and a wasted vacay. I
Right.
hurt my back, so I spent it all the way on my back, which is good for our listeners because I'm highly informed on the playoffs. I've been watching a
Wow.
lot of NBA basketball.
It's a very heavy sports time of year. So the fact that you're properly full on that is great.
Mhm.
I saw you gallivanting on the Instagram on Thursday night.
Yeah,
with
I had
Jason and Joe.
we had a fine time. Now they had to survive what all kind of radio foibles, ghosts in the machines, gremlins and whatnot, power going out, internet. But by the time I got there, it was a fine party. Taste the
Well,
North
Joe
Side.
came here
Mhm.
on Friday and said you had a good time.
Let's just say, for those that I saw later in the evening, I'd like to apologize if I have to. I was having a fine fiesta evening. I'm still peeling confetti off of places it shouldn't have gotten. I don't know how confetti gets where it gets.
Well,
It's like I go in to take a shower and there's just like Fruit Loop, like there's like colors
It's
on me.
like
Like
the
I got the
sound,
Skittles
like the-
pops.
Yeah, every time you like turn and find one. Interesting.
It's a
Well,
bit a good
Joe's-
night at Fiesta when you wake up in the morning and there's confetti on your pillow or stuck to your face. That's the nights. And Thursday night was one of those hot, sticky spring San Antonio Fiesta nights where very little confetti left your body. It all just stuck to you.
You bring up hot, so the other
Because
thing,
they just
Joe-
get gooey and sticky and stick
Yeah.
all over everything.
There it
Yeah.
is. The other thing Joe brought up, or we talked about actually, I think it was on the Blitz. You didn't respond, so I'm sure maybe you were bedridden. Jason was in.
I
Florida,
saw the
guess?
gumbo, the beans and rice,
Well,
and I
so
knew
he
exactly what it was the moment he posted it. And I felt bad for Joe for thinking what he thought.
Why? We had a
That's
great
not
time
what you have
this.
on the beach, and I knew what that was.
Why would you feel bad for Joe then? That was a Jason decision. I
No,
mean,
what Jason had was fine. What Joe thought it was completely not
you
it.
cannot eat gumbo on the beach.
Why?
when
The
it's
gumbo
90
is
degrees.
it's a seafood dish. What are you talking
It's
about?
too hot, dude. It's too hot. You can't eat anything.
So you
hot
can't
when
eat
it's-
anything hot on the beach. It all has to be cold.
You're telling me you've had scalding hot soup on the beach when it's been
I've
90
had-
plus
I've
degrees
had-
outside.
Yes, I have had gumbo. I've had all of that on the water. Yes, I have. I
That's,
have no problem with it.
that's a weird.
It's
way
a
to rock.
seafood dish. What I don't get what it's seafood gumbo. Where
It's
else are
too
you gonna
hot.
eat it?
When it's cooler outside. Like, do you eat clam chowder when it's cold?
I eat
Well, that
clam
would be
chowder
appropriate.
whenever I have a chance to have clam chowder. You've been with me. You know what that's like.
I'm just saying, you can't eat things that are designed for cooler temperatures
They're-
when you don't
it's
have the
not
cooler
designed
temperatures.
for cooler temperatures. It's just a
It
different.
totally is.
What?
Joe and I agreed.
Joe puts
you-
ketchup on his chicken fried steak, so he is immediately
Yeah, I mean,
discounted from
I'm
any
not-
conversation.
I'm not walking that walk with Joe. That one's too far from me. But
No, I will give you that it is a warm dish, and it probably isn't what I would have sitting having a beer at noon. I will give
That was
you
the other thing.
that.
yeah, like it's one thing to eat that, given the environment of the circumstances. It's hot outside, you're on the beach, whatever. But like I told Joe, there was a cold Miller Lite in the photo. So you're telling me like in one, fell motion, you're going from drinking cold Miller Lite to a spoonful of hot gumbo? That sounds horrible. But I digress.
I'm sure it was fine. Jason went and saw one of our favorite bands, Trombo and Shorty. They're on those sugar sand beaches of Destin, Florida over the weekend. Looked fantastic. Spent some time fiestaing, watching plenty of hoops. And as we celebrated down here in South Texas, Dak Prescott came out of a hole. And we heard a bit from him regarding his future. And he was about as vague as they've been, although maybe a little clarity headed toward 25. We're going to look forward to what should be an interesting couple of days. Do we have an official ticker for the draft? Are we going to start posting one as we count this sucker down? We're getting close.
It's a big week. It's the biggest week in the NFL. Biggest week for the Dallas Cowboys in quite some time.
What's your expectation? Oh man, I love that song, man. There are very few of those little 3-note stings in the sporting world. The comeback to the NBA Finals the stinger for the draft are two of the very best. But I digress. We're going to look very closely at all the NBA playoffs. The play-ins were great. Yesterday was nothing but blowouts, but won a late game. But even that one, both teams kind of tried to give it to each other. Oklahoma City takes one home, and if you're a Pelican fan, you have got to be a little upset with Zion, don't you? To what you saw yesterday, aggravating at the very least. Along those lines, we'll look around the rest of the league as we get closer and closer to the draft. On both sides of the docket, Scotty Scheffler is the greatest golfer to walk the planet recently.
That's not true, and not yet. He still hasn't won at the RBC. Play will resume today. But
I thought he had a 5-stroke lead. Last I saw.
I'm just saying it's not over. But the greatest golfer on the planet is Nelly Korda. She won the Chevron yesterday, her second career major. She's won 5 events in a row. 5 events in a row.
Pretty impressive. You've been talking about her a lot.
She is the real deal, man. I mean, she's been the real deal, but that is, I mean, very different. And among those events included the one in Vegas, which is a match play event. So she's also, just won different formats. I mean, it's not the Masters, obviously, but that's not her fault. What she's doing is pretty different.
So Nelly Korda and Scotty Scheffler rule the world.
Basically, yeah. I mean, you want to make us watch some sort of match where they drive in golf carts and have AirPods in their ears talking to each other? Put them on TV.
I'm saying
that. Yeah, I mean, but miss me with
Can Caitlin swing her club?
I don't know, but the Caitlin, she did share. I saw this was everywhere. She shared the Nike ad about Nelly. So Caitlin's time, is here as well.
I'm glad you're following such things. I am. Did you cook anything good?
I did not actually. So it's kind of a ho-hum weekend.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Garcia this weekend for knocking down Devin Haney. Ryan, good friend of the show, good one of our favorites. Taking out a fine fighter in his own right. We're going to talk a little bit about the rest of the world, but coming up, man, oh man, Dallas Cowboy world. I hope you guys have found your seatbelts, got your popcorn ready for popping, because this week is going to be interesting. Coming back, we're looking eventually at the playoffs, see what we saw. Dame, that was worth the trade, wasn't it? At least for a half. We'll talk about what we saw yesterday, where we're going with the playoffs at 6:30. Easter egg. Is that what we're calling it now, kids? Maybe he said something and it pertains to the 2025. We'll look closely there. We're so glad you're with us. It's going to be a full sporting day, and you have chosen correctly. He's RJ. I'm Rob. Together, we are the Morning Huddle, and we will be back looking at the NBA playoffs. Who's the MVP now? We'll be right back. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Kinetico water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Kinetico water softener. Call the team at Kinetico at 656-PURE or online at KineticoSA.com. That's 656-PURE or KineticoSA.com, and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Kinetico.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
We're here with Jose of the Gomez Law Firm. Jose, tell us a little about what makes the Gomez Law Firm different from all the other law firms in our area.
You know, we pride ourselves as being an open line of communications. We don't have an automated service. You're not going to ever dial our phone number and get some robot on the other line. You're always going to get a person 24/7. Our principal office is here in San Antonio, and we don't only say principal office because our main office is here. We say it because, again, Mr. Gomez was born and raised here, practicing law here in San Antonio in his community for almost 50 years. There are not many attorneys that can say that. If you've been injured, if you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in a car wreck, call the Gomez Law Firm. We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-SEER AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743459.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Remarkable change begins with daring to be different. Baby, I'm on a mission with Boost Mobile to putting the latest phones in the hands of more people. Introducing the signature Coach Prime Razor, only from Boost Mobile. Rush to your nearest Boost Mobile retailer and get your signature Coach Prime Razor on us. Get after it.
Limited time discount available online only while supplies last. Taxes extra. New customers only. Must activate the device within 30 days to avoid paying full price. Offer subject to change.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Guys, let's get real about your hair loss. How long have you been wearing a hat?
Hiding thinning hair or a rapidly growing bald spot? Just stop it. You're not a 12-year-old little leaguer, you're a grown man. It's time to take action. Let the hat go and get your real hair back permanently with Bosley. You heard that right. Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. And right now, Bosley is giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone that texts MORE to 200-300. Plus, text right now and get a link to this month's incredible deals. Join the millions of people who come to Bosley and see just how awesome your hair could look. Text MORE to 200-300 for your absolutely free information kit and a free $250 gift card off, plus a special link to incredible deals. Text MORE to 200-300 now. Text MORE to 200-300.
This is the home of the Aggies. This is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. It's the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star. Blitz. Did I say that? The Blitz.
Did.
I did. I was thinking about you
It's
and
okay.
Joe. I heard a little bit of you and Joe on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Was that Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Seems so long ago.
It was.
Hope everybody's fiesta is going well. Got River Parade tonight. Looks like the weather's going to be spectacular after a windy. I lost internet on Saturday night. It's a dreary existence.
You're delaying apologizing.
I've learned a long time ago. Don't delay that.
Well,
I'd like to say I'm sorry, and I won't do it again. And the fact that I did it the first time, I'm ashamed of.
And I really, really, really mean it. It's
So what did I do?
Well, you doubted Dame Lillard.
No, I didn't doubt him. I said this was his time. Milwaukee did this for that. They made the deal. They went and got a dude that on nights like yesterday, when they don't have half, he did everything absolutely a superstar would do. And the
condescension for a half. He only had to work.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, he did what was necessary, and he became such a threat that in the second half, while he did not score, you had to respect 35 points in the first 12 or 30 minutes. So, hey, well done. But you know what? That's exactly what's expected of you, Dame. They traded for an all-NBA type to do that. So I think what we figure out every year on the first weekend of the playoffs is playoffs are just different. It's just different. There's no longer another opponent coming around the corner. There's no longer the 12-hour, here's your scouting report, here's a little bit of film, let's walk through. Now it's 24/7, how do we beat those guys? And when you see teams like Milwaukee jump up and kick somebody in the ass, and you watch and you see the Clippers woke up and kicked somebody in the ass, it's because now it's playoff time. You get 100% of their attention, and it's just a different world now. Cream really does come to the top, and it showed over the weekend.
Dame in the first half that you mentioned, 19 minutes. So I mean, it was really hustling out there. 35 points. 35 points when the Pacers scored 42.
Ridiculous. And it was an exhibition the likes of which Dame's put on before.
It was truly a matter of what you said. It was, okay, now it's serious. Now it's time. Like it was masterful. You owe him an apology.
I would like to check the tape on that. I wasn't mad at it, but I do get the reminder every year that it is playoffs are just different. The prep's different. The attention to detail is different. If you have a wound of any sort, if there is a weakness, it's going to be attacked and reattacked. The scab will be picked. The scar will be cut. I mean, they just find your weakness over and over. And you also get the separation of coaches. And man, was it apparent in the Clipper Maverick game. Oh, man. Ty Lue coached his ass off.
Yeah, that was a James Harden masterclass, dude.
And you know, you have to expect that once or twice, but it was just it was a bunch of vets, expendables rolling out and just kicking ass.
I have a weird phenomenon that happens to me around not football season, because obviously my Twitter timeline is full of a lot of Dallas media types and Dallas people because of everything I do around the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are the only DFW team that I root for, right? I'm not a Rangers fan or a Mavericks fan or a Stars fan for that matter. But I would say that my timeline is kind of mostly DFW through and through.
Right.
And man, they were going through it yesterday. Like they were having not a good time. I mean, they were really kind of up against it. And I don't know how you kind of can't be. And this is a really high pressure situation for Dallas. And we've talked a lot about how Oklahoma City going on a run of success could spell, I don't want to say doom for the Spurs, but could send them down a path of
not doomed by
path.
any stretch.
Yeah.
It will prolong our misery, I think is the best way to put it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it would be the most boring path possible. So we're against it in that sense. I think the worst possible thing that could happen in conjunction with that is Dallas failing. Right, we already got the conversation in the Express last week about how, look at Dallas, they traded, for Porzingis and it didn't work out, and you don't want to be that team, and whatever. And I don't think that we've given the Mavs enough credit for being able to survive that and bring in Kyrie and whatever. But even then, you look at that and like, man, they just getting smoked right away. I mean, it's one game, but the Thunder and Mavs kind of represent like, the two sides of the fork in the road that you can take with Wemby. And so the Mavs floundering is really not good for somebody who wants to see the Spurs be active this offseason.
Well, there is some, speaking of activity, there is some word coming out of Atlanta that maybe Trey isn't all that eager to leave, which, I mean, that
Trey's
makes
just saying the right things right
now. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not, but his running mate, it might be expendable.
That team's going to look different one way or another. There's no question about it. I mean, and I would love it if it was Trey who moved on. And
what about what about our former and possible future? DeJounte seems to be the guy that the Hawks are shopping.
We've talked about that before. I have no issues with that. Like, I'm open to that idea and that possibility and that return. I know there are some people who are like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to relitigate that. But I'd be fine with DeJounte. I mean, I'm at this point, like, make a move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just anxious for anything. So, my vision is a bit clouded by my antsiness. But back to the playoffs, though, what was the best game you saw?
Last night was the best game.
The Bucks games.
The Bucks game was the first half of the Bucks game was really nice to watch because it was cool just watching a great player be great, and Dame was great. And Milwaukee is a better team, but I think I had begun to discount them in their absence. They'd kind of, with Giannis down, and I thought Philly was going to be a little bit better. Man, the Knicks fans going to be nuts here for the next couple of days. So I had discounted Milwaukee, and I thought Philadelphia was primed to do something kind of special, and they still might be. I didn't, but Milwaukee surprised. Miami, sadly, is Miami, and Boston still is Boston. You can just continue to tell that the West is just going to be a knife fight. I don't know who the best team in the West is today. Oklahoma City looked good, but they could have given that game away. The Clippers, they certainly looked scary over the weekend. Denver is still Denver.
Do you think anybody can beat Boston?
Whoa, but not like what I saw yesterday.
It's wild how that was never close.
No,
like it was never even kind of close. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just immediate drowning for the Heat.
And this is what I love about this next couple of days, because we're going to see the true merit of coaches comes out right now. The true merit of the staff, of your scouting crew, all those things that make championship teams that you don't really get a chance to kind of digest in January, February. The prep work, the guys that are responsible for 3 games from now, they're all focused on one dude, like one guy and what he does. And there is so much more in this than any other than baseball. And even in baseball, the sidebar stories really start to kick in as the playoffs begin. And we get a full spate of it tonight. It'll be live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. think of us either here at 94.1 or our bro station 1250. If you're looking for the playoffs, we got them live right here. Rangers will be going again tonight. We're going to talk some college football later in the show, a little bit after 6:45, as we try to focus our sporting attention to lots of spring games. And Arch Manning looked pretty good in that orange and white game over the weekend. We'll look at college sports at 6:45. But coming around the bend, hey, Dak, he spoke, and were there Easter eggs left? Well, it's a holding pattern with some movement. How's that sound? We're going to talk Dak Prescott as we're on the eve of the 24 draft. Hold on tight. There we go. Cowboy talk coming. This is 94.1, and you are on San Antonio Sports Star.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Austin Clonch, the new UTSA men's basketball coach, joining us here on the Blitz.
Listen, this is a basketball decision when you come to UTSA. We're going to put you in a position to ultimately develop, and put yourself in the best position to go be a pro. Very similar to how, Coach Oates has done it at Alabama, right? And I think this is going to be an opportunity, for guys that, maybe haven't, had that, chance or played this style to come here and really show what they can do.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
Feel that heat? That's how it should feel when you're outdoors watching your favorite team coming up to bat, not in your home. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 and get a free quote for new energy-efficient windows.
Don't sweat a swing and miss thanks to insurance tokens from BetMGM. Add an MLB wager to your bet slip and activate your bet insurance token. If your bet with the token applied doesn't hit, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to a specified maximum amount. That's another chance to step up to the plate and bet on the action out there on the diamond. Go to your BetMGM account today to claim your bet insurance token and get your stake back in bonus bets if your MLB wager using the token doesn't win. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and official sports betting partner of MLB. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer is not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. years. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Have you ever lifted a piece of furniture only to discover the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not brand new? That's when you realize you need new carpet. At the Home Depot, we have a wide selection of all the top brands. Best of all, installation is included. So all you need to do is choose something that matches your style. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included with qualifying purchases. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, huddle up. Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Check us out live on our YouTube feed. We look so handsome for you. This is the best week of the year for those that are looking forward to interesting days. I don't know what the next 3 days hold. The draft starts Thursday. What time are we beginning our broadcast? I want to make sure we promote this in the most appropriate way possible. Our draft coverage will start at 6 o'clock on Thursday. We'll get you going even earlier on Friday at 5 o'clock. And then Saturday, of course, we'll have you fully covered draft wired. Where's the draft this year?
It is in Detroit. Yeah. 313.
Good for them. The draft has turned into quite an event.
It's because the draft is all about information, and information is power in the NFL. And this is, the pre-draft process is all about, you don't see it? Oh man, how can you, what?
It's true.
And, last week in football content creation was filled with, and I saw somebody, this escapes me who, so apologies, tweet about, last week at all these people, this is a strategy, Rob. You fire off like, oh man, Rob Thompson should really go, blah, blah, blah. So that when that happens, right, this week you can be like, I told you, somebody saw, they see what I see. So, for
the next 24 hours,
back time of year,
I should fire off about 18 possible first-round draft picks.
Yeah,
for the Cowboys.
This week you should fire off like, I'm telling you, there's something, I see it, whatever. And then when somebody says no way, you say, how could you not say what? It's right there.
It's right
Watch
there.
the tape. Yeah,
kind of like Dame Lillard. I told you. The Dak Prescott sighting was appropriate, I think.
It's interesting what you consider to be appropriate.
Well, I just felt like as we headed into the draft, of course Dak was going to be speaking someplace, and of course he was going to get an opportunity to speak to his future, current and present, current and past, and he did. Isn't that interesting how just before the draft, as all of this is coming to a head, Dak Prescott had a public appearance where he was able to speak to his current situation. I just found that his agency, CAA, are indeed creative.
This is messing around.
Mhm.
This is, you're gonna mess around. You're gonna find out. You know what I mean? This is,
All right, RJ, let's get. We are going to mess around, and I get the sense that was what Dak was telling you, right? Wasn't Dak in his best possible follow the innuendo way? It was like, you're about to mess around and find out about 2025.
Look, this whole thing has been botched. There's just no way to go about it. All right, and I'm trying to convey this to even the non-Dak Prescott believer,
which is
even
me.
if the Cowboys are going to move on from Dak, even if you believe that to be the best course of action, this has still been botched.
Foobarred.
Because you could have gotten something for him, whether you think he's really good or not. The reality is he is going to be valued by somebody. Maybe he won't be valued to the degree that he'll set NFL records for money. My money would be on that. But still, the fact is that franchise quarterbacks are so rare. He is one of those in the pass-fail proposition, and the Cowboys failed to cash in on that. I mean, they were sitting at the slot machine. They'd made 5 Gs. And somebody was saying, let's go cash out, man. Come on, let's just go. We can go home. We can go back to the room. We can have, we can celebrate. No. Another one. Come, we still got 4 Gs. We're still in the black. It's still a positive weekend. Nope. They are just hell-bent on doing this the wrong way. And I will say, Dak saying this, what he did, is representative of the fact that he is not playing nice anymore. And good for him. Like, he is going to people talk about having leverage. That's one thing, but wielding it is another. And he is ready to wield it. And good for him. I'm happy.
I found that it wasn't a shot fired at the Jones boys.
I think it was.
But, I mean, it wasn't an overt, like, okay, mess around, find out. But it's the most I've ever heard from Dak. It's as far as I've ever heard him go.
I would only push back on that, and I've brought this up several times. He said at the Super Bowl in Miami, which was in January, February of 2020, he said that he would be willing to, he didn't say hold out, but willing to not show up to offseason activity when he was going into the first real contract negotiations. Right. And that would have been louder than this. We never got to see that because the pandemic hit and they, moved virtual OTAs and things like that. So there was nothing for him to not show up to, you know what I'm saying? But that would have been very interesting to see. This, again, they're poking the bear. You ever have a dog that's like sleeping on the couch and like minding its own business, and you go and you get down like face to face with it, and you're like rubbing its head, and and the dog's like, leave me alone, man, leave me alone. and you're just in the mood to play, and the dog's like, leave me alone. And finally the dog's like, back up. You know what I mean? I'm here relaxing and I'm here chilling. The Cowboys have been poking this situation by not doing anything, and there are still these, people who fall in line who, think that they're infallible as a front office for reasons I can't understand or fathom, that think that they've got this, that despite the fact that CeeDee Lamb didn't show up last week to voluntary workouts, despite the fact that they have 2 external free agent signings to date, one of whom was a player that agreed to terms with a different team, that they're totally in control and that this is all going exactly according to plan.
Well, Dak, let it be known that we'll see what happens in 25, wherever the future may hold. That could be interesting as we get closer and closer to draft. We'll look closer at that. Steven spoke to the other quarterback on the roster right now, too, a little bit. Coming forward, though, where'd you spend your attention this weekend? As the playoffs take front and center, there was a lot of other stuff going on, including spring football. there are some happenings in Austin. We'll look at what Arch did and some new rules, as well as the professionalization of this amateur sport known as college football continues. College football talk continues next, because that's what we do quite well around here. This is the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FREE for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FREE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FREE for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill up.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B today.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, ultra soft on the potty. Less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. My cream is always soft, it's our party body. So what chicks feel fly. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Okay, Kohl's has some epic deals right now that are perfect for early summer prep, and I need to talk about it.
I just went and found my entire family tees under $8 and sandals under $30. Not to mention new patio essentials for 30% off, plus Iron Coal Stash. So don't wait. If you want great brands and great prices for a great summer, you gotta get to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. I got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff.
Oh, great. We have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight. We have cutters. And, hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
Cowboys play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, gather round. The Morning Huddle continues right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Take one good look at RJ Ochoa and try to figure out what's in that can right beside him. You can do that if you're watching him live on our YouTube feed. Sound off on the bar. They got something to say. All right, Longhorn fan. Did you see the highlights of the Golden Boy over the weekend? He looked good. I know, granted, it's against the Texas defense, and it's supposed to look good on a nice weekend afternoon in April. But 3 touchdowns and a couple of throws that there's not a lot of people in the world that could have made. I got to say, even me, the doubter, I was pretty impressed with the arm.
I mean,
I'm proud of that. Hook 'em.
It's nice to see Caleb. Obviously, I'm Caleb. I'm doing something.
Well, maybe you know,
seeing art. Well, maybe one first overall pick to another.
I think so.
Little Freudian slip there. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna keep this dude off the field. It's just, you know what I mean. Like, this is gonna get loud. I mean, we're on the verge of. Every now and then, there's a story in college football that's just overwhelming, and you can feel the dam starting to break here.
19 of 25, 355, 3 touchdowns. That 75-yard, the deep one, that guy was wide open, but he did hit him. I mean, ball carried a long way in the air. Just a beautiful weekend. And, I think you're right. I think that there's going to be the moment that Quinn does something Ewers-esque, and he, sometimes his reach doesn't quite or overdoes his grasp or whatever that saying is, and he's going to make a mistake or two, and Archer's going to get some minutes. And the moment he gets in there, I don't know how you're ever going to be. If he gets in and is successful or even equal to Quinn, I don't know how you get him out.
The moment, and that's the thing, like for Sark, like the moment you turn this, you can't go back. You know what I'm saying? This isn't toothpaste that you're letting out of the tube or worms that you're letting out of the can. This is a monster that you're letting out of the black hole. Like it's just it. And who's the first phone call you get, or what's the first phone call you get if you do go back? You know what I mean? Like, is Peyton calling you? That's a very different level of criticism than you're used to under normal circumstances, right? Like nobody freaked out that much when if you wanted to bench Sam Ehlinger. You know what I mean? Like this is a very different beast to tame. You can't tame this. It's a wild horse.
And once it's out, like you just said, once the toothpaste is out, it's out. It's an RPP for no, if no other way to look at it between the two. But man, I knew he was good. If he's capable of doing that under duress, in Tuscaloosa, running around there between the hedges.
I know this is about more than Arch, but God, I'm so excited for all this to finally happen. Like it's been so exhausting. Just like, in 2024 and 2024, like, man, it's a relief that we're finally getting some settlement of all the, just tornadoes of movement that we've seen over the last few years.
In other news, in their ongoing effort to mimic the cash machine that is the NFL, the NCAA Football Rules Committee has added the 2-minute warning to the end of the second, the end of the fourth, another chance to throw in another break, just a little bit more ad time. They're going to tell you it was for strategery to, to allow the teams to line up and whatnot. No, it's just to find another break in the game. So we got that going. But to help us, they're going to allow the coaches to talk to players like with the mics and the headsets like the pros get to, which makes perfect sense. I'm not mad at any of it, but don't come in and try to feed me the line that the 2-minute warning is to help in the strategery of the game. It's to give us 30 seconds and about an extra $250,000 a game, I would say.
The beautiful thing about college football is that some coach somewhere will botch this in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like some coach will find a way to turn this into a moment that results in a loss that otherwise wouldn't have. And we'll be sitting here saying, oh my gosh, that guy. I mean, college football is full of all sorts of theater across all lines on the spectrum.
Anything left that they need to do for college football? They need to mimic the kickoff?
Make sure the video game's good. That's
well, what about the kickoff? Should they copy that, or do we want the old school still throwing bodies around?
We need to see it one time in non-XFL action, and then we're good.
Well, there we go. Coming back, Silver and Black talking about it. Victor speaks, and Trae Young might be staying home. We'll look at all the NBA, including the playoffs. Coming around a bend, don't go nowhere. This is the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the Morning Huddle with Robin RJ. Morning 6 to 10, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Are your windows struggling to keep up with the game? It's time to upgrade with Maverick Windows. Stay ahead of the competition with energy-efficient windows. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 to get a free quote.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. You stop running because your feet always hurt. That's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-785-9545. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-785-9545 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-785-9545 to see if you qualify. That's 800-785-9545.
Sadly, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 women in the U.S. will encounter physical abuse from an intimate partner, and violence against children persists. Christie's Hope strives to overcome domestic violence by providing critical financial support to shelters that offer housing, healing, and preventative measures. Thomas J. Henry proudly collaborates with Christie's Hope in the shared mission to end domestic violence and empower victims. Join us in building a legacy of hope. Donate today at christieshope.org.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Play ball! Missions Baseball returns Tuesday night at Wolf Stadium. Join us for AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch is at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
That's what we do. Talk silver and black.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
And we're about to start as the NBA playoffs begin. The Celtics handled their Heat yesterday, 114-94. The Clippers look good, taking down the Mavericks. They didn't even have Kawhi and beat them by 109-97. The Bucks took down the Pacers 109-94. And the Thunder, well, they beat the Pelicans late in the thriller, 94-92. The Rangers, well, they won 6-4 against the Braves, and the Stros went down to the Nationals 6-0.
Wembanyama three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Here we are. It is the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Check us out live on our YouTube feed. That's RJ Ochoa, repping the Man U Red Devils today. I'm Rob Thompson on the other side, deep in the heart of the 94.1 Sports Studios that are ripped asunder. Ripped asunder. Is that an appropriate term for a Monday? Wires everywhere. I appreciate your pretty studio. It looks good. I've been evaluating your backdrop and how everything kind of plays. There's some depth to it now.
Well, I appreciate that.
As there is to you, as always.
That's the magic of optical illusions. You know what I'm saying? Look at that.
See, who's this cat for the Ringer? I like him. First of all, you know, you read people's material and you see some things that are done, and then when you see him in person, I guess person best we can talk about is on a podcast. This guy, his name Kevin O'Connor with the Ringer.
Yeah, he rocks. KOC.
Yeah, man, he really does. Sat down with Victor. We saw a tweet last week, kind of jumped around. Finally got a chance to see it over the weekend. An hour of Victor. Takeaways initially for those that saw it and you, RJ, about who Victor is in your mind after a full season and what was a remarkably in-depth and really interesting conversation between the two.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this on Friday. It was really cool to just see Wemby be so relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest takeaway is, so there was another Wemby interview that I watched recently. It was a few months ago now. I don't know if you saw, he sat down with Connor Bedard, the #1 pick in the NHL draft. And they kind of talked to each other about, like, so what's it like being the prodigy in your sport? You know what I mean? Like, it was a really interesting sort of thing. And I read this really deep kind of assessment of Bedard's rookie season with the Blackhawks. And it talked about how he, is 18 years old and how he, went to his like teammate's house for dinner, and his teammate's like 34 years old, and how it was like super weird how he was like closer in age to the guy's kids and, to his actual teammate and stuff. But everybody kind of came away talking about Connor saying, well, this dude's just like obsessed with hockey. Like this dude, like, when he's not playing, like he's practicing longer than all, like he's just obsessed. He's reading about hockey. He's just, all he wants to do is talk about hockey. He just loves it. And that was kind of my takeaway from Wemby here, is like, this dude just loves basketball. And not even, I don't mean like loves the discipline and loves the craft. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but it's clear that he's just like obsessed with basketball, and he finds it to be fun and interesting, among other things that he finds to be fun and interesting. And so it was a cool, I think we thought that already.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a cool, confirmation of the idea that this dude just doesn't care to do much in life except, play basketball, read an interesting novel that challenges his imagination, and wake up and do it all over again.
When you've been around the mic and watched the Spurs for as long as I have, this is now my third next. Watching David Robinson arrive and getting to know him as a young player in the Naval Academy and fresh out of spending some time on sub duty, he arrived, got to know him, and we were watching him early in his career playing the saxophone and playing the keyboards and doing mathematical, differential equations on the grease board in the locker room, doing, David Robinson stuff, where you could tell basketball just took a very small percentage of his brain, that most of it was dedicated to things that truly challenged him mentally. But physically, it was 100% of his body, and he was just gifted. And then there was Tim, who had the, in person, he had the Caribbean mentality, man. He was chill. He was funny until he hit the court, and he was an assassin. And then, that the melding of the two. And Wemby, it's hard to imagine a more interesting. He's both these guys. He's very thoughtful. And the depth of his thought process for a kid his age, it astounded me. There was not a question that Kevin brought up that was not pondered before answered. Think about that.
Not only not pondered, but not, a lot of guys, I mean, you've interviewed a lot of people. A lot of guys are just kind of going through the motions. A lot of guys are kind of, hey, how much longer we got here? I think a lot of people, what they like about Hot Ones, which is the wing eating challenge.
It forces you to answer the question because your brain's trying to handle the heat,
Right. But the show is designed to your point, to get people's defense mechanisms lowered. And the questions that Sean Evans has for them are really thoughtful. Like, he's such a great interviewer, and he's constantly commended for that. And I'm not saying Kevin O'Connor isn't a great interviewer, but Wemby was just, I mean, there were no short answers with him. There were no, yes, there was nothing simple and to the point. It was a completely casual, lax thing. And I think that that's also what I find to be endearing about him is, he sat down for this hour-long interview and completely and totally opened himself up to talk shop. And I have no problem with any other media property, but it wasn't on the shop. It wasn't on, this massive podcast or something that's like known for this or whatever. It was just like, I feel like doing this one day. And he went ahead and did it. And he's very the whole thing was emblematic, I think, of how down to earth he is. And it was cool to see him do that.
Two things. One, he was not allowed, but was not dissuaded from doing that. which is kind of the not the Spurs typical thing. The free and easy hour-long podcast into the workings of practice and your plans and all that kind of stuff. That's just not common for Spurs types. And that's both by personality of the type of people they bring in and by just general attitude around the building. I do appreciate what you said, that it wasn't some masterful, highly produced on the shop. We're going to break it with little Jimmy talking about who's taking talents. This is one of those things. It was just him sitting with a mic and, it looked like a little podcast kind of room and talking. His absolute obsession with basketball is not surprising. I mean, you don't get this good this early. I don't care how tall you are without living it and dreaming it 25 hours a day. So, but there is another part of him. And I do think that sometimes his introspection is because English is a second language. So he has to kind of, what am I going to say? Let's find the words that go English to French. And I think that his depth of I don't want to, he has a depth of language that I do appreciate. The words are very much influenced and he understands that. And that is, to me, for a young kid, is just the most remarkable part about it. You think a lot.
There was another art. I had a massive reading weekend and caught up on a lot of things that I had bookmarked and saved and things like this. And there was this article in The Athletic about NHL players and what language they think in,
right?
Because they speak so many languages and they interact with players from all over the world in different countries. And so it talked about how, like, when you're when they're playing with Swedish players, they speak in Swede, and when they're playing with Czech players, they speak in Czech, and they just kind of fall in and out of English and Swedish or whatever the case may be, kind of based on circumstances. And it was interesting to kind of hear like what they scream in, like during the game, like, and whatever. So to your point, but they all talked about, like, I have to. There was a quote from one player who did an interview in English, and then the Swedish reporters came up, and he literally said, "Hold up, I have to reset my brain." And so there is some of that, I think, with Wemby. Like, he's a naturally thoughtful person, and then he has to, kind of, I don't want to say translate, every single time, but he's very measured with how he speaks, and he's very purposeful with how he speaks. Did you see his Instagram post over the weekend? Because it was one of my favorite Instagram posts of the year, and I'll say that already.
I saw a variety. Him messing around in a garden, which I'd rather him not hold a garden implement in his hand, but that's good for him. But
so he posted a sequence of photos, and he captioned it "Year 1 #first form," and there's just different photos from the season. Everything's kind of cool, right? Whatever, blah blah. One of the photos is him blocking Giannis, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But near the end of the post, the final two photos, I'll show you this one. This is him and Pop.
Oh yeah, I've got him up. I'm looking at him.
Okay, and the very next photo is Luke with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he envisions himself to be Luke Skywalker and Pop to be his Yoda.
Oh my, does that give you like a warm feeling? Like, I just had a warm caldo on a cold day.
Yeah, find me the person that looks at their professional sporting career like that, through that lens, through that prism. I mean, he's one of one. I mean, it's very, very, very cool to kind of learn more about him and how he views things.
The rest of the NBA certainly paid notice, and he wasn't shy. Yeah, guys, call me. Yeah, don't you like that?
I mean, let's be cool. Don't get anybody in
we
trouble.
Can't tamper.
But yeah, I mean, how could people not? How could people not want to be around this and be a part of it?
Well, Trae Young, rumors have out there, and I'm certainly not surprised. He might want to stay, and Atlanta might want to keep him. That's no shock, but that's just early in the game.
Look, there are also, and I'll ask you to pick based on the two most popular rumors right now.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather trade for Trae Young, or, presuming he hits free agency, sign Chris Paul?
Well, Chris Paul would be cheap and easy. It's not an either or here. I get the sense, I talked about it before. I get the sense that Chris Paul and the Spurs would be a good match, and I have no problem with it at all. But it won't be expensive.
I mean,
I think it would be an ideal get. There was a time, and there's been a lot of guys that have come through, and this is certainly not the same. But Speedy Claxton came through at a time when we needed a little bit more of a a veteran sense. We had Mario Ellie here when Avery Johnson was here, when we need a little bit more of a veteran sense, a guy who'd been around the block and had seen some things. I can go even before that, when Pop was in his full point guard killer stage back in the late 90s, where we were cycling through. He went and got a couple of old dudes to kind of hold down from Mo Cheeks to Darnell Valentine back in the day. Having old point guards, Pop likes that. And this is one of the best old ones to ever come around the pike. And a guy who's pretty desperate for a title and certainly understands Lob City. So there's some merit to bringing him in. He's never been my favorite guy personally, but professionally, I think he's been stellar, and I'd like to see him in silver and black. I'm down.
CP3, you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, CP3. He'd be cheap, mid-level kind of guy. He wouldn't break the bank, and I think he'd come in with the right kind of mindset and understanding about exactly what his position would be. And man, oh man, you think about the dumb turnovers; those would end fast with him on the court.
Maybe.
You're right, Goldfinger. Sorry.
I'm just not like overwhelmed with the idea.
Oh no, this is a bit part piece player. I'm not talking, this is not a big deal, but if we're looking at an off season where the Spurs might be sitting on their hands and counting their money, and waiting for the next opportunity, it wouldn't surprise me that Chris Paul, it might be the signature get, even though it's really not that big of a deal. It'll just be about it was the first of many. But to see Chris Paul land and not a lot else change over the offseason other than the draft would not be a huge shock.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's the guy who breaks the dam,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, like long term. But it does, even like the analogy isn't perfect, but it does feel a little bit like, Rob, we don't need Trae Young. We have Trae Young at home, and that's Chris Paul. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, again, not that he's currently at home. But it would definitely be a settlement. And I understand if Trae Young's not the swing you want to take, but this isn't a swing either.
No, it's a backup. And you're right, Goldfinger. Yeah, he can't stay healthy, but if he was to miss weeks at a time, he ain't here to win games. He is here to bring up the rest of the squad and to help win games when apparent. But his merit will be in practice, on the plane, how he handles himself, the demeanor he offers as a current and ongoing big-time media star, and how he's handled himself with pretty much, as RJ's like to say, a plum. That would not be a bad get at all. Now, like I said, personally, I've never really liked the guy, but his persona's been softened with his Allstate commercials and what was it? Allstate, State Farm, it doesn't matter. State Farm. But as far as getting guys, I'm starting to doubt that this is going to be too busy, especially on the heels of the Trae Young might be staying there. Now, again, that's early in the process. There's a long time between here and there, but
yeah, I mean, we're one game into the playoffs.
But I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't shock you, would it, if Atlanta was to come out and say, "Hell no, we ain't moving him." He's kind of like their Dak Prescott. Like, okay, yeah, I know he hadn't won a lot, but he's won enough.
I will say, as far as CP3 goes, I know that we don't put a lot of stock into the San Antonio's a flyover town thing, blah, blah, blah. Just listen to Wendy talk about the city, blah, blah, blah. If that's real, if there are NBA players who view San Antonio that way, I think it would be good for the rep to have Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like, CP3 comes in and he provides. I mean, look, I wouldn't say my point isn't that Chris Paul has wildly transformed franchises, but Chris Paul goes to Oklahoma City, becomes a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Chris Paul goes to Phoenix, becomes really serious. You know what I'm saying? Obviously Golden State didn't need that help, but and San Antonio doesn't need that help from a legacy standpoint. But I do think that he is a bit of a catalyst in terms of, he's a very popular player. You know what I mean? And so and he's a widely respected player. And so I think that he could be, it could be your path to a great beyond, which is what we're looking for, obviously.
We got our finalists from the NBA over the weekend for the awards as we head into award season. The MVP finalists, Jokic, for the fourth straight year, is a finalist.
What a shock!
Yeah. Is there anybody? I mean, we could Tatum, best player on the best team. Embiid certainly was MVP-ish.
No, you can't go to Embiid. This is
yeah.
a Jokic thing. It's
I
okay.
can't. Luka, no.
Not quite. I mean, he's not. He's close, but he's not quite there.
Giannis.
And it's a regular season award, but like it feels so silly to give it to Luka this morning. You know what I mean? After last night or yesterday afternoon.
Victor's a finalist for rookie, but I saw the ballots that
For
are starting to
defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to win rookie, but for
there's no reason to be a finalist or to care about him being a finalist for rookie of the year.
But for defensive player of the year, I saw the ballots that are starting to trickle out. He ain't going to win it, but he's going to be an easy second.
I've made my peace with the fact that he won't win defensive player of the year, and that's okay. It's going to be okay. I promise. Are you mad?
Yes, I am.
Pledge is mad. Pledge is like big mad.
I've seen it, and I'm mad too. But I also understand the circumstances. I understand the playground. Brian Legg on our brigade bar. You should be talking about Anthony Edwards versus Kevin Durant. Yes, Anthony Edwards was Jordan-esque there in the fourth quarter the other night.
Oh man, he was awesome. I really underrated the Timberwolves. It was kind of sad how my sons didn't show up at all.
That defense travels. That is
a chance.
Whoa, that is a smothering defense, and
they have a real chance.
There was a play in the third quarter. Again, I watched way too much basketball, so a lot of it kind of blended Friday into Saturday, Saturday into Sunday. But Naz Reid grabbed a rebound and dribbled coast to coast and did a little wrap around. Keep in mind, this is a 7-footer. I didn't know that cat could do that. And when he did that, that showed me how mobile he is. And you put him out there with Gobert, that is a squashing defense that, man, Oklahoma City, the Pelicans, they both look good with Zion, and Oklahoma City is still, man, they come at you a lot of different ways. But the defense that the Timberwolves showed me, I think, was the most impressive thing other than Boston's just dispatching of the Heat that I saw this week.
Well, I think that Denver's kind of boring great. You know what I mean?
They are.
They're just as great as what you described. It's just like it's boring. So it's like who cares?
But if I was placing odds early on, the best team I've seen in the West was Minnesota, and the best in the East was Boston. That's early returns, one game in, but that's not a shock to a lot. But the Clippers, I think, were my biggest surprise of the weekend. I sold them short, man. You forget what the playoffs are and what the regular season is, and it's just different. The NBA's promotional campaign right now it's just different. We can't say how or why, but it is. It's different basketball. It's played at a different pace. The coaching is different. The timing is different. The subbing is different. It is just everything is prologue. Past is prologue for this. Everything was preparation for this.
I still stand by that we're not giving Denver enough love, but man, I'm kind of bummed how boring the first games were.
Well,
overall,
keep in mind we have to relearn these lessons every year. And the other lesson is the playoffs really don't begin till the road team wins. So whether you lose by 15 or 1, it don't mean much. This is a road game, first time out there. Look at New Orleans and the Oklahoma City Thunder game last night.
Right.
The Thunder fans, come on now. Wait, that place was a mausoleum. Come on, Thunder fan. That was the quietest damn gym. And everybody dressed in white. It was like watching a game at a prison.
Do you know a Thunder fan?
I have family up in Oklahoma that
those are the only ones I know too.
Yeah, and so they're ate up beyond belief.
I think they're too young to have bandwagon fans yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not enough people that are even SGA, like people aren't like Chet isn't the kind of guy that's like Wemby is the type. I'm sure interact. Like when we were at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, how many people from all sorts of markets were like, "Oh, dude, Wemby." You know what I mean? Like everybody's in. There's nobody from those markets. It's like, "Oh, Chet." You know, like,
Yeah, exactly.
nobody's
He's
like,
Wemby light. He really is. He does everything Wemby does, just not quite.
Yeah, and so, but he doesn't have the same like star power. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not getting asked for hour-long podcasts or whatever. So, it is. They're just kind of flat. You know what I mean? And they don't feel like a 1 seed. Like,
No,
you mentioned that Minnesota's been the best team in the West so far. I know you're talking about like through the context of just the opening games,
right?
I would still, if we were like power ranking the Western teams, I'd still put them behind Denver. But Oklahoma City is the 1 seed, and they wouldn't be my first or second choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, in fact, after yesterday, I might put the Clippers third. You know,
I would actually.
That so like I don't want to call them a paper tiger, and I don't want to call them a fraud, but they're just such a not intimidating. You know,
well, you can't skip a step. And as much as you try, you can jump a step, but you always fall back. You don't get to fall into an NBA title. It just takes too much, and you have to learn how to do and how to come through certain situations that only come through in the playoffs. So there's a long way between here and there. And Oklahoma City kind of stumbled around yesterday. The Pelicans were without Zion, and man, as a Pelican fan, if you're out there, everything about Zion annoys me now. That stupid earring, take that thing off, man. Everything is just stupid, staring at everything about you yesterday just annoyed me. Don't even go to the game.
I'm definitely annoyed at Zion if I'm a Pelicans fan, but none of that bothered me. I mean, I'm annoyed because I feel like if I'm a Pelicans fan, we win last night.
Dude, if you just show up, if you hadn't had that last beignet 2 weeks ago, maybe if you'd have just pushed the cheeseburger away, maybe you'd just chosen not to Uber Eats in that jambalaya bowl late that night. If you'd have just that one last thing that pushed that hamstring just past the level of a Baltimore bridge, like that's it. Just because you had to have that last beignet.
I'm just annoyed that we lost. That's really where I'm at. I'm annoyed that CJ McCollum's 3 didn't go in. You know what I mean?
Oh, it was close, man.
They're the only team. If there's a team that lost that I feel like should have won, it's New Orleans.
Well,
nobody else that lost did it feel like it felt like the proper result happened. Unless you disagree from every other matchup.
Just look directly in the mirror, Zion. That loss is on you. And those medium uniforms that you have to find.
Did you know today is Earth Day?
Is it really? Is that still a thing?
I just saw a tweet from MLB that says, "Love our game, love our planet." #Earth
Well,
Day.
it should be a bigger thing.
In the spirit of that, what's your favorite thing about the Earth?
That is
a fair question.
There's so much good about the Earth.
What's your favorite thing about
my
Earth?
favorite thing about the Earth or Earth? Like the dirt?
Your favorite
or just
thing about
the
Earth?
plant
I have a thing.
that
If
it
you need
supports
time,
my
if you-
living?
If you want inspiration, I have a
that
thing.
has given me a home. That's my favorite thing about the Earth, that it's given me a home.
My favorite thing is gravity. 'Cause it
That's a good
tethers
thing.
us here. You know what I'm saying? I know that's not really about the Earth. It's just like related to the Earth. But 9.81 meters per second squared. You know what I mean?
But I'll tell
We've
you,
been living this way for a long
gravity,
time.
as you get older, is a little bit harsher on us. Like, you're still in the age where
Gravity
you
is also-
appreciate gravity. Right now, gravity seems, I have greater gravity the older I get. And it seems to be pulling me down. Like there's just like my skin, and it's just gravity.
Your skin?
So, like, hey, man, gravity does terrible things to man's body.
Gravity is also an incredible inspiration for a lot of source material. Like I feel like Gravity is a great inspiration for music. Gravity is a song
That's
by Sarah
John Mayer.
Bareilles that's great in and of itself.
John Mayer's
And
Gravity.
Defying Gravity, one of the more famous Broadway songs of all time.
See?
From the seminal classic Wicked.
And you
Shout
want
out
to see
Alpha Bell.
gravity defined? Go sit in an old man's sauna. That's gravity defined right
Dude,
there.
what is your deal with the visuals?
I'm just trying to get people moving on a good old Tuesday morning. It's not even Tuesday, it's Monday. Been on break for the last 4 days. It's been Saturday, 3 straight days. On the other side, over this weekend, Dak Prescott came out of his self-induced hole and spoke to his current and his future plans. And it seems as nebulous as always, but 2025 might be a little bit more open than many of us think. Dak speaks in preparation for a busy NFL week. Draft is just around the corner. Of course, you can catch it all live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. We're going to talk about it next. Dak's future is less foggy, though still cloudy with a chance of rain. We're talking about it next. It's 94.1, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Feel that heat? That's how it should feel when you're outdoors watching your favorite team coming up to bat, not in your home. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 and get a free quote for new energy-efficient windows.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, 210-651-5899. License number M16004, EACLA 000743445.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
94.1 FM. Punch it! You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio's Sports Star. Look real close at your device. You'll see RJ Ochoa just ready to talk to you. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're here on a Monday morning. Don't forget, we're just the beginning of a full sporting day. The Blitz will be busy today at 2. They both will be back. I want to thank Joe for spending some time in his in my stead as I was absent there on Thursday and Friday. Did you enjoy your time with Joe?
Yeah. So Joe hung out here for an hour on Friday, and I hung out there for an hour, and we talked shop. And he's a cool dude. I'd do it again.
How about Jason on Thursday?
Jason was great. You know what I mean? Ho hum, normal sort of thing.
Okay.
You know, I actually wanted to talk hockey with him.
Yeah, I know.
He was like, "No, let's move past it." So, you know, not a real hockey fan, Jason Minix.
He says he is. It just didn't work out that way. Well, I hope you didn't. You know, while we I know we see other people, but we always come back and I don't want to feel.
Well, again, based on their word, your Thursday night was
I was
meriting of a day off.
I didn't wake up in time to hear any of the show on Thursday. I'm glad I didn't, because I'd have been jealous. So where was Dak over the weekend? What was he doing? Something special, I'm sure. Saving children, blessing puppies. What was he doing?
On Friday night, he spoke at a children's cancer event. I don't know if it was a gala or what specifically, but it was an event. So he spoke there.
And I am not. Where's my black hat? It's up there, and the picture posted of me over the last week was too priceless not to keep that around.
Oh, shout out to John Robbins.
Yeah, John Robbins. That was well done. Not that I'm a conspiracy type at all, but the timing of him in the event and the questions and his availability for such questions could not have been more perfect, because of course he had to come in and speak right before the Thursday draft. As we've heard over the last couple of weeks, the Cowboys are a bit of a sleeper to draft a quarterback. Well, he did, in fact, talk to the press afterwards, and he did say that there haven't been a whole lot of talk regarding his contract status.
Honestly, I'm focused on the moment, on the now. If the talks begin and real talks get to happen, sure, we can talk about getting that done. But in this case right now, honestly, I'm worried about just getting better, being better tomorrow than I am at this moment. So leaving that up to my agent and Jerry at this point. And when those talks begin, I'll be more involved, obviously.
So no talks. Are you surprised with no talks?
No, I mean, I've been in conversation. I've talked to Jerry, and so I understand where we are, obviously. And Jerry's mentioned the same, so there's not any gray area in that sense. So, yeah.
He talked about the cap and all the situations and why they're not doing it.
We had a great conversation. We had a great conversation that put us aligned, and and where we are and moving forward, or where we are in this moment, I should say, and we'll address moving forward as that comes about.
RJ.
I mean, it never had to be this way, and the worst.
Yeah, but okay, so here we are. I mean, he literally just said they had a conversation, and he wouldn't take even one step in to that at all.
He's elite at managing this. I mean, there's no question. Like, you're not going to get anything out of him. I mean, he was asked about gray area. Remember, this is a man who said his favorite color is gray.
Right.
He knows how to say a lot without saying nothing. And so,
which, by the way, is a psychopath answer.
The gray thing.
Gray is your favorite color?
The part that is so mad, I don't know what part is the most maddening, but one of the elements that is maddening about this is the deal he's on was designed to offer him an extension now.
Right.
Like it was designed this way. So why has it not happened yet?
That's such a great point to bring up, RJ.
There have been reports over the last week that the Jacksonville Jaguars are having conversations with Trevor Lawrence. And you might be thinking, like, well, how come they haven't gotten anything done yet? Oh, what's going on, Dak? How come you're only talking about Dak? This is the first year that Trevor Lawrence is eligible for a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at his team, the team that employs him is saying, let's get this done now.
Talk now.
Because
right now, because with
sense.
every passing second, you're getting more expensive.
This is when it will cost the least. And I don't know. I haven't decided in my own mind whether I think Trevor Lawrence will get paid commensurate quarterback market money, or whether or not Tua Tagovailoa will. But they're the two big names to watch outside of Dak this offseason. But the fact remains that they could get that money, and if and when they do, it ups Dak Prescott's price significantly. And so I just the hubris from some fans to just overlook a 30 touchdown season, finishing second in MVP voting, an all-pro season. I mean, the idea that this is just found, on the street, when you and what's really bad. I'm sure this has happened to you, but I know that I've accidentally done something, whatever it's been, and that's reinforced, like, oh, I can do this all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you stumble into something and you think, like, oh, I'm really good at this. Like, I picked up the controller and I won Mario Kart the first time. Like, I'll never lose a race ever again.
I set up my Wi-Fi one time in like 10 minutes.
And so the Cowboys are like,
that's easy. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. Wi-Fi. That man. Just give me another
quarterback. You're a 4th round pick. Like, we'll do it again.
We did that with Tony Romo before that. This is easy. We can just find him off the scrap heap.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, they are gonna mess around and find out. And the finding out may not even be Dak Prescott leaving, but they're gonna pay so much. They're already paying so much more. Like, if and when they sign Dak, it's going to be for way more than it ever had to be, because they dragged this out. And there's nothing anyone can say to justify. If they had this massive ledger, Rob, with free agents that they had been signing, you could sit here and say, well, dude, they've been really busy. I mean, look at them. Like, they've been
What's
signing
next on your busy
right.
tick list? And you were 6th. I get it.
Exactly. But you've got some legal experience. You're a lawyer.
I'm not a lawyer. I've spent some time in front of a lawyer and a judge, but
that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. You're closer than most in that.
Well, I mean, everybody, when you stand in front of a man,
you can't. You cannot defend anything they've done. They've done a bunch of nothing. For what? The only reason they're going to do something this week is because they have to. Because the NFL said, here are your draft picks, dude. You've got to make these selections.
There is a little bit of good news. Dak doesn't want to necessarily be the highest paid player in the world.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be the highest paid necessarily. So we'll wait until the negotiations begin, and obviously want to put this team in the best situation. So,
best part of that was everybody in the press going, oh, you don't, do you?
Well, Dak is not a dummy, and Dak knows that it pays more to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because the moment Dak says, yeah, I want to be paid.
Oh, hell yeah, market value, baby.
Yeah, but that's the moment that the conversation turns. Dak knows how to play the court of public opinion. And so Again, what I respect about Dak is he has used his leverage against this team. Is that they have tried to strong arm him and in some way him and wield the brand of the Cowboys into, forcing him into accepting the terms that they want. And he has not once blinked. He has won every negotiation with them. I mean, he has, if there has been one thing that has kind of, I think, removed the veil from people's eyes, it's been the way the whole Dak Prescott saga has unfolded. He has shown their lack of forward thinking and allowed us to see it relative to other players and other positions and other decisions that they've made. I mean, the way that they have botched this when it is so easy for every other NFL team to accomplish is really embarrassing. I mean, it truly, Rob, is a matter of like, okay, let's just copy paste the last one and up it by 5%. That's it. Boom, done. Does somebody have a TI-89? Even that's too advanced of a calculator for the problem that we're trying to work out here, but that's all it takes.
Well, he did talk about how busy the team has been in the offseason.
I don't want to say I'm puzzled. Obviously, I'm focused on the guys that we have. I know we got a lot of great guys, a lot of good that's returning in that locker room. And I say good, but great, and young guys that are good that are making that next step. So obviously, have faith in those guys. Always done well in the draft and bringing some guys in. So hopefully that'll make a big impact. And I think right now for me, it's about just focusing on the locker room and pouring into those guys. And I don't control that side and making those moves. So I'm not going to put too much thought and angst into it, I guess, and what we're doing and how we're getting that done, rather than just how I can invest in the guys and make sure that they're getting better and holding myself accountable to do the same.
That's Dak Prescott on Friday night. He was doing a children's camp. He was doing the Lord's work, and God bless him. But
I can tell you this:
he had to speak to what was going on.
Going to work.
Now, before we go any further, RJ, I don't know the premise of the question. I don't know if puzzled.
That's what I was about to tell you.
He wasn't asked about puzzled. Because if he came out with like, I don't want to say that I'm puzzled, but I don't know what the hell's going on. But somebody
he was asked if he was puzzled about the general inactivity surrounding the team. And that was, I mean, that's like, if anyone thinks that Dak is purely playing hardball with the team, he could have been a big jerk.
Oh, right there.
He could have been, yeah, this is ridiculous, man. I mean, like, we're losing Tyron Smith and, whatever, but like, that was a real company man answer. That was a real, like, hey, I'm focused on the guys. We draft really well. So for anyone who thinks that he's not, giving in any way, shape, or form, I think you're a little bit misinformed. So that being said, I mean, what a crock, dude. I mean, like, man. Come on, like, and at the very end, so he did a great job of like, okay, let me not say anything. We draft really well. Like again, it is universally understood that they have set themselves up poorly here. Think about that. That's amazing. That everyone under the sun knows that what they're doing is worth including the question puzzled, or the word puzzled in the question.
I can tell you this. We'll be rolling up our sleeves.
But this is the group that people side with when it comes to the Dak Prescott negotiation, despite the fact that 100% of the collective believes that what they're doing is suspect, wrong, ridiculous, stupid, whatever. Those people are the one that we trust to be handling the negotiation relative to the best player on the team, the most important player on the team. They got this, Rob. Lock it up.
Your definition of what is all in and mine might not be the same thing.
Oh, I don't know there, Jerry. Hey, we're all in on it, and we'll continue to talk about it. In fact, just after 8 o'clock, as the week begins, it's draft week. We'll talk about the guys that the Cowboys have met. There is some precedent that they've come through the locker room. More likely than not, they might be a draft pick. We'll talk about who did and who didn't over the weekend as we get closer. And, of course, more from Dak. But coming around the bend as we head into the playoffs, takeaways from what you've seen. And as we watch these playoffs, the TV rights are coming up again real soon. We'll look at the players where you might be watching next season's or 2 seasons from now NBA playoffs. We're looking at the league. That's next here on 94.1. You're on San Antonio Sports Star.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, ultra soft on the potty. This is more
so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vice. So everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Okay, Kohl's has some epic deals right now that are perfect for early summer prep, and I need to talk about it. I just went and found my entire family tees under $8 and sandals under $30. Not to mention new patio essentials for 30% off, plus Iron Kohl's Cash. So don't wait. If you want great brands and great prices for a great summer, you gotta get to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Kinetico water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Kinetico water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Kinetico water softener. Call the team at Kinetico at 656-PURE or online at KineticoSA.com. That's 656-PURE or KineticoSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damages under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
This is Joe Reinagel. You're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks, Joe. I'll get here about 2 o'clock in this sterile studio. All of my toys, they're all gone. Bobbleheads, it's just an open space. You'd know that if you were watching us live.
How are you going to make it?
What?
How are you going to survive?
We'll muddle through. Thank goodness you're here with me in your new settings. It's funny how you're doing it as well. That's RJ. Check him out on your YouTube feed.
That's me. That's Rob.
Well, what do you know today that you didn't on Friday regarding the NBA? Is there some kind of acorn of knowledge that has begun to sprout?
I would say that Dame Lillard was doubted and is no longer going to be. I know that. I didn't doubt him, to be very clear here. I also know that the Timberwolves are a bit for real. So same way you doubted Dame, I doubted the T-Wolves. And
I don't know where you got that I doubted Dame. And in fact, I challenge Edwin over the next 24 hours until we see Dame again.
Edwin to do that. I know
where I defamed Dame
and Trey Jones are in the same box for you.
Now, Trey,
anyway,
I owe an apology.
I also know that the Clippers are a bit more serious than I think anybody thought they were. And maybe James Harden isn't just this meme. Well, no, I don't care about that. But you know what I mean? James Harden was awesome. You know what I mean?
He was. He's a cheat code.
There were moments on Sunday when at least I was like, man, why do people keep getting rid of this guy? And I know that's a trap that everybody falls into, but golly, he looked awesome.
I love playoffs. All the new kicks dropped. Kevin Durant got a new pair. I got to see those again. Donovan Mitchell had his on. 'Tis the season as the NBA playoffs continue. Make sure you can catch them live as they progress right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and ESPN San Antonio 1250. If they're not here, they're there. That normally means the Rangers are on. We got your draft coverage in completion as well. In fact, we're going to talk about that on the other side. It's draft week. Where are the Cowboys going? Are they still a sleeper for a quarterback? And we'll look at the visits. That seems to matter in Cowboy history. And we're going to be doing it with Blogging the Boys, editor-in-chief RJ Ochoa. Go grab some scrambled eggs and have some breakfast and join us as we continue the Morning Huddle right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Head of the field and throws it down with a right hand.
Your home for the NBA.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Are your windows struggling to keep up with the game? It's time to upgrade with Maverick Windows. Stay ahead of the competition with energy-efficient windows. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972 to get a free quote.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
But I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts, until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPV LLC.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Hi, everybody. Scott Innes here. For 25 years, I've been voicing lovable cartoon dogs like Scooby-Doo, Astro. Hey, I love puppies and dogs. And now I get to help pets that need a voice to save their lives. That's where the Puppy Food Bank comes in. The Puppy Food Bank helps pet rescue organizations so they can feed puppies. For just $11 a month, you can save a pet's life. Go to puppyfoodbank.org now and donate, and they'll send you a nice gift. Puppy Food Bank is proudly supported by Thomas J. Henry.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Hey, the NBA playoffs have begun. The Celtics lead the East and took care of the Heat easily, 114-94. The Clippers surprisingly easy over the Mavs, 109-97. The Bucks beat the Pacers on Dame's 35 in the first half, 109-94. And the Thunder came back late to beat the Pelicans, 94-92. Of course, the Pelicans without Zion. The Rangers took care of the Braves, 6-4.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 4-1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. It is the Morning Huddle. RJ Ochoa, Rob Thompson with you on a Monday morning, a Fiesta Monday morning. Grab your guayubaras, wipe off the confetti behind your ears. Yeah, we all saw it. And head into work today. Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. Morning, RJ. How are you on April the 22nd?
Top of the morning to you, Robbie T. Life is good. Life is great. Life is grand. Excited for another week of sporting activity. I'm actually a little bit overwhelmed. There's a lot of sports happening right now, and I, to be quite honest, can't totally keep up.
The draft is just 4 days away. Let's be real. We'll have it live for you starting 6 o'clock Thursday, 5 o'clock on Friday. I think we're going to have everything you could possibly stand, and of course, all day on Saturday to keep you up to date. And as we get closer to that, the NBA playoffs have offered us everything, and we'll get you caught up here in just a couple minutes. But here we sit at the draft, and the clock is ticking for the Cowboys and everybody else. A barometer, a pretty good one in the past for who the Cowboys are going to draft have been the in-house visits, those officials that every team has to, I guess they have to tell everybody. Is that set up so everybody knows who everybody's looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a telegraphing sort of process. I would also, this week we'll bring a pre-draft press conference for the Cowboys where they notoriously can't keep their mouth shut, and will likely tell us a lot. And I would be on the lookout, and we'll obviously be on the air on Thursday morning. Generally speaking, Thursday morning there are flapping gums. They really have, we'll I think have 3 names maybe that we're kind of ready to kind of circle around relative to Thursday night, because they like to talk, and more often than not, you can get a strong assessment of what the Cowboys are thinking as the first round approaches, and I wouldn't expect this year to be any different.
Any trade rumors that you guys have seen floating around that might be worth following?
I think that it makes a lot of sense. It makes all the sense to trade back, trade down in the first round. As it stands, Cowboys are going to have to wait forever. So for anyone who doesn't know, Thursday night is the first round of the draft. Friday night is rounds 2 and 3. And then Saturday is rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the Cowboys do not have a 4th round pick at the moment because of the Trey Lance trade a year ago. So it is going to be a long time for them to have to wait after their 3rd round pick on Friday night, and then waiting all into Saturday and the draft starting, and then waiting in a whole entire round, and then waiting most of the 5th round before their pick comes around. And they're going to watch too many players, get plucked off the board that I don't think they can afford to do that. And that's why, the more common or the most common comp that's been thrown out is what the Cowboys did 11 years ago. They went into the 2013 draft kind of a little bit further up the board than they are right now. San Francisco came calling, and they traded back down to 31, and they still picked in the first round. They took Travis Frederick, took a lot of heat for that, and it worked out well, obviously. But in the process, they picked up an extra 3rd round pick. The Cowboys' 2 3rd round picks that year in 2013 were J.J. Wilcox, who was a okay safety option for them, and Terrence Williams, who was certainly a great, wide receiver 2 complement to Dez Bryant. And so that would be ideal. I mean, again, it would still be difficult to wait and watch the whole 4th round go by without a pick, but with a 2nd, 3rd round pick to kind of sit on, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounds are your top 100 picks. Those are generally, I wouldn't say day 1 starters, but day 1 impact players. Day 3, rounds 4. Yeah, rounds 4 through 7 are maybe not projects, but
special teams types for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've got to find a way to get another player of serious quality. So trading down in the 1st round is my dream scenario for them on Thursday night.
As we heard Steven, what was that, Thursday last week?
Yeah, well, he was on, I think it was Tuesday, and then again on Friday.
It was Friday he talked about Trey Lance. I mean, he's not going to say anything negative. But I did get the sense that there's going to be a quarterback drafted.
They would be foolish to not draft one in general, even if Dak had signed his extension already. or if they'd gotten one done. I mean, you should be cycling through day 3 quarterbacks all the time. I mean, you just never know when that player is going to turn into something. And so, I mean, I sure wish the Cowboys had a 4th round pick right now and not Trey Lance, and then they could throw their 6th round pick at the quarterback position. I mean, it'd be cheaper labor, and it'd be a player under contract for a lot longer. So, but they made this a really complicated situation by trading for Trey Lance, knowing when his contract expired.
On that list of 30 that you have on your great article there at Blogging the Boys, titled 2024 Dallas Cowboys Pre-Draft Visit Tracker, all reported names. I don't see any quarterbacks there, though.
No, I mean, that would, you're not bringing in a quarterback for a top 30 visit on this.
Really? Why not?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, like, unless you really are seriously considering taking one in the first round. I mean, obviously, the Bears, the Commanders, the Patriots, the Vikings. I mean, these are all teams that are highly considering, doing that. The Giants. Did you see, by the way, what the Commanders did? This caught a lot of attention over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They brought in the non-Caleb Williams quarterbacks for a visit together. Like sometimes these things you show up and, hey, Rob, we're interested in you and maybe with our 1st round pick. Let's go have dinner. Let's go to the fanciest steakhouse in town. No. They took them all out, all the quarterbacks, to like Dave and Buster's. And that rubbed Jaden Daniels' camp the wrong way. So that's interesting.
Oh, come on. I don't care. It rubbed you the wrong way. You're a little concerned about us having you in for some kind of jeopardy. I don't know. That seems kind of like trying to be the smart guy in the room. Like, I've got an idea, boss. Let's invite them all in. And they won't know it. And then we'll sit them down to dinner. And then we'll turn the lights off. And then we'll make it real hot in there and see. No. I mean,
I love what Jeff Probst says about Survivor before every season. He says that this is the greatest social experiment ever designed, which it is in many ways.
Pat myself on the back.
But the draft is similar to that. I mean, like you're trying to learn. You're potentially turning over the keys to $1 billion corporation to this person. So you know what I mean? Like you have to be sure. So this morning there was a report from Adam Schefter that when the Bears brought in Caleb Williams, they didn't send him out to dinner with team brass. Instead, they sent him out to dinner with the team leaders, the like cornerstone players on the franchise. Well, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? That's kind of smart and kind of interesting to see how teams are approaching this kind of stuff. So that's, hey.
The list of visitations, a lot of running backs. Jonathan Brooks.
And that was
Trey
also
Benson.
in Adam Schefter's notes this morning. He shared a lot about the draft, and he said, even in a draft, he's talking about Jonathan Brooks, the runner out of UT. Even in a draft considered subpar at the position, some think it would be a surprise if Brooks made it past Dallas's turn at number 56.
Yeah, I'm beginning to put that in. It's still in pencil, but it looks like a running back is going in the 2nd round. You don't look at all these different cats.
Well, the latest that a running back has ever, the latest that the 1st running back has ever gone was 10 years ago. Bishop Sankey was the 1st running back taken in the 2014 NFL draft, and he went 54th.
Yikes.
So
Bishop Sankey huh?
It's very possible that Jonathan Brooks is the 1st running back taken, and maybe the Cowboys do take him. But if that winds up happening outside of a trade-up situation, the Cowboys can't really afford to trade up. He would be the latest 1st running back ever taken. I know that's a weird thing to say out loud, but it's the truth.
Different types of backs. There's big ones, there's little ones, there's there's fast ones, there's receivers, there's single eye back types. I don't think the Cowboys necessarily have a type, do they?
I do think that they probably want a bigger running back. They probably, I'm not saying they want, like this massive dude, but they probably want somebody who can withstand a little bit more punishment. They've already got Deuce Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they can really afford to have a lighter guy if they are going to be kind of trying to turn him into a bit of a bell cow. And so they want somebody with a little bit more meat on the bone, so to speak.
I was all in on the Deuce Vaughn thing, but the chances, you think he's going to be on a roster next year?
Yeah, there's no reason why he wouldn't be on the roster.
I'd like it, but we very quickly, I realized why.
No, I mean, it's still, it's still a pipe dream kind of thing, but he'll make the roster. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Are we surprised that the NBA players are slipping into Victor's DMs or sliding it? Did I say slipping?
I don't
Sliding.
think they're sliding in. I think they're cannonballing.
They're cannonballing in.
I don't think that they're being shy about this, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, it makes sense. He's on the verge of becoming the best player in the world.
I wonder what those conversations are like. I wonder how exactly do you go about this? Are you like asking him out? I mean, exactly what is the conversation like when you
probably like, hey, tell Brian Wright to
yeah,
pick up the phone.
maybe that's exactly it. Let's talk about that. As the season ends and the NBA has announced the finalists for the variety of extra trophies that mean extra dollars, there have been lots of conversations about Wemby. One of them involved him. He sat down with, what's his name, Kevin O'Connor? Phenomenal hour-long sit down with Kevin O'Connell of the Ringer. Phenomenal. We're going to talk about what Wemby had to say and how he had to say it. Look at the Spurs as they head into the offseason, who they might be chasing, and the fact that players are now calling him. All have to do with a bright future and how quickly will it begin. We'll talk about that with the Spurs and look at the NBA playoffs. One game in, what do we know? That's next. You're on 94.1. This is San Antonio's Sports Star.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Austin Clunch, the new UTSA men's basketball coach, joining us here on the Blitz.
Listen, this is a basketball decision when you come to UTSA. We're going to put you in a position to ultimately develop, and put yourself in the best position to go be a pro. Very similar to how, Coach Oates has done it at Alabama, right? And I think this is going to be an opportunity, for guys that, maybe haven't, had that, chance or played this style to come here and really show what they can do.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Don't sweat a swing and miss thanks to insurance tokens from BetMGM. Add an MLB wager to your bet slip and activate your bet insurance token. If your bet with the token applied doesn't hit, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to a specified maximum amount. That's another chance to step up to the plate and bet on the action out there on the diamond. Go to your BetMGM account today to claim your bet insurance token and get your stake back in bonus bets if your MLB wager using the token doesn't win. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and official sports betting partner of MLB. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer is not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. I got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff.
Oh, great. We have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight. We have cutters and hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationship with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz with the NBA playoffs here. You want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do it. Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Jim. He'll get going today. About 10 o'clock. No, that's he'll be at noon. So that's when Romy gets here. Greeny here at 10. That's RJ. He got here early. So did I. This is the Morning Huddle. We're glad you're here. The draft coming up. I can't wait to see the suits. Who has better clothes, NFL or NBA?
Well, I have a
or
friend
WNBA
who,
now. WNBA might just take the cake.
I have a friend who designs Gentleman's Playbook is his Instagram handle, who designs I don't even know if designs the right word, but who coordinates what different people wear. But he has clients in the NFL and the NBA and NHL for that matter.
What do you mean he coordinates? What does that mean? He goes and finds the clothes? Is he
I don't know his whole process,
but
he's
like a stylist?
He's the person. Yeah, basically. I mean, although there's a lot more to it than that, but I think it's just style is everywhere right now.
Oh yeah, man, I'm down. WNBA was phenomenal.
One sport has better style than the other.
That girl from Stanford.
Actually, soccer, international soccer is the answer.
Yeah, maybe they got good haircuts. That's for sure. Wemby had a phenomenal interview over the weekend. If you haven't had a chance, it's on the Ringer. Guy's name is Kevin O'Connell. Just find it. It's all over YouTube.
O'Connor.
Kevin O'Connell. Sorry,
the Vikings head coach.
Yeah, him too.
First of all, with Wemby, it'd be really weird.
It would be, but it would be interesting. And Wemby, for what it's worth, has been very active over here. I think he's about to head over to Paris, so he's got about 2 weeks. He'll stay busy in the United States because I'm sure he'll spend some time on the TNTs and on the ESPNs and on the ABCs before he leaves. Just because he's going to get an award or two. When does that award hit, by the way? After that, I think he'll be gone. But right now, we're getting him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a couple of weeks away from all that.
Mm-hmm. I know that he's eager to get to Paris, and I heard him even say, he's been a little homesick over the last couple of weeks. The hour long to sit down with Kevin. First of all, your takeaway from just the interview itself, not what he said, but how he said it and how just your takeaways from the kid himself.
Well, he's a very, very wise person. I mean, old soul.
Mm-hmm. That term
wise
comes to
beyond
mind.
his years, like however you want to put it. But beyond that, my sense too. So I don't really know what this is like, but I feel like some people say like, oh, he was such a good kid. He was so easy to raise. People say that about their kids or whatever. And like, I mean, I certainly don't want to make any assumptions, but like, he just seems to be like that. Like I thought his line about near the end of the interview, he was like, I don't really have any incentive or desire or wants or wishes to go out and like party or whatever. He was like, he just, he seems like a really secure person. And I really strive personally for that type of security in life. He has no threads that tug at him or anything like that. And I think that is a reflection of how he was raised. And so, he's obviously got this immense talent that he gets to display, on a nightly basis, which we get to enjoy. But it's hard to find that level of inner peace, and he's got it, and I'm really happy for him.
Do you think he finds that peace in knowing how good he is? Do you think he knows how good he is?
I think he knows how good he is, but I don't think his peace is at all derived from that. I think his peace is derived from I really don't know at this point, and I don't know that we have to know, and I don't know that we will ever know. We don't always get to know that about athletes. I told you a little while ago, I caught up on some reading. Kyle Porter does a great bit of work for CBS Sports, and he has a newsletter called the Normal Sport Newsletter, talking about golf. And he has talked a lot about Scotty Scheffler as of late, who this morning, by the way, officially won the RBC Heritage. And whether you're a person of faith or not, Scotty Scheffler talks about his faith and how it kind of grounds him. And Kyle's point is, again, whether you are somebody who is a Christian or whether you're not, it's clear that this level of grounding impacts his ability to work, and his work happens to be as a professional golfer. And so Scotty has led us into that, bit of his life and understanding where his peace is derived from. I don't know where it's derived from Wemby, but he has it. And I mean, I think that, it gives him a level of confidence in his own life, but certainly in his abilities as a basketball player as well.
Watching just the way he played and the way he acted at the beginning of the season to where he is now, I think it was reflective in the hour long. And some of the topics they talked about was, the stages in his career and, influences and the growth through the season and surprises, all the things you want to hear from Wemby. And I highly recommend it. Go find it and listen to it. It's worth the listen. Just not now. But my takeaway from him just as a person, I just couldn't be more in awe of the fact that we got this kid who seems so much a blend of the two guys that we've had before. The deep introspection and the Wemby's a curious guy. You can tell that he's curious about a lot of different things. That basketball, while it is his means and his passion, it is also a means to an end. That doesn't include basketball. And I think Pop loves that about it. I don't think Pop loves basketball guys, but he also loves well-rounded men. And, and that's one of the things that, because I think Pop surrounds himself with people like that. And if you're around him, he's going to create that kind of environment for you to become that. And I think Wemby embraces it. And you talked about his Instagram posts over the weekend where he symbolized himself as Luke Skywalker to Yoda. That to me, gosh, first of all, warms my heart. Just go ahead and buy some land. Wemby, get some ranch properties, the likes of which you wouldn't be able to sell in 10 years. Let's invest it all now. Don't wait. Get it now and wait. You know what I mean? Let's go. So that warmed my heart. But above and beyond that, the introspection that David offered when he first arrived, and that, David loved a lot of different things. And he was really, he viewed the circumstance that he found himself in as a basketball player with this wealth of money and free time outside of the season to go do spectacular things and learn to do and be. And I see Wemby eventually doing that. But right now, you brought it up earlier as we were talking about this. This guy is far more of a gym rat than I thought he was. You can't get this good without being that, but you have to love it. And he loves it.
Well, I think sometimes, when you encounter a player who plays for your favorite team, you find out it's just kind of a job for them. Like, that's one of the biggest bummers about aging or whatever, or becoming more cognizant as an adult, is oh man, like they don't live and die with the team the way I do. But some people do, right? Like, and that's what, endears us to those people all the more, right? The people who just completely and totally, blanket themselves in the team and the team history and the team culture. And Wemby's like that with basketball in general, let alone with being a Spur. Like he's so concerned with basketball analytics and things like that. Like he's a gym rat, but he's also like an NBA Twitter snob. You know what I mean? Like it, and so he encompasses and embodies all the like best elements of what we want in like who we like, how we envision ourselves if we would be playing in the NBA, if that makes sense. Obviously, we don't have his physical talents, and so. But beyond that, I mean, you talked about the David thing. Like I think he arrives at an important time, and that's where the Spurs have this like. Just touched by the basketball gods sort of aura about them, and that David arrived and he's this Navy man in Military City, USA. And then Tim arrives as, the organization needs just this quiet hero, this dark knight,
quiet, lighthearted assassin that would just cut you apart if you had the chance on the court.
This person to carry the organization in the middle of the ballooning of, player personalities and things like that. The player who never, ever asked for that and who, in fact, shied away from it. And then, the franchise gets its heart broken and needs this like superstar with a little bit of that personality, but still with elements of, the fabric of who the Spurs are. And Wemby embodies that, right? Like he's here to rescue us from the dark days that number 2 casted us into, but also, tethers himself to the past and to his predecessors. Like he truly is this, if you could have built someone in a lab, you know what I mean? To like pioneer the future of the Spurs, it is absolutely Victor Wembanyama. And that's what's like, again, it's exciting about him, not just as a basketball player, but as like an ambassador. It's a weird thing to like put on the shoulders of such a young person, but if anyone has ever seemingly been ready for that challenge, it's him.
It feels that way. It certainly does. And it certainly does lend itself to a bright future with a lot of people that want to play with him. And he even intimated that, yeah, guys are reaching out that, just if you're curious, I wouldn't mind coming down there and taking my talents kind of stuff. Chris Paul has been kind of floated around as the Golden State era for a lot of reasons is ending, and his career is winding down and still no ring on it. A long relationship with Pop. He's been a Team USA type before, and he brings the kind of skill set that I do think the Spurs are certainly chasing. Knowledge, understanding far beyond what goes on in that the game nights, but everything that goes on in between, I think, matter when you bring in Chris Paul. I would love to see it, and I'd be willing to pay a certain dollar that would be competitive with others. I think he'll get a fair amount, but not too much, and would be a worthy get. Thoughts on bringing on a Chris Paul?
We talk a lot about corporate knowledge as it relates to the Spurs. I do think that there is corporate NBA knowledge that this version of the Spurs just does not have. I mean, name me the thing that you can encounter in the NBA that Chris Paul hasn't experienced, right? So you mentioned the Luke Yoda thing. The photo was in sequence right after a photo of Pop over Wemby's shoulder. So it was like really similar. Like, so in this, scenario, right. Wemby is Luke, Pop is Yoda. I think that would make Chris Paul like the Han Solo here. Like you need that person, you know what I mean? You need that like renegade, who has, some hardening from life to come in, because Luke is almost too naive. He's too green. He's too trusting of the Force and everything within the galaxy. And you need someone to be like, hey kid, check yourself. I know you have all these talents and you can make things float and whatnot, but so we can parse out the rest of the analogy later. Like,
remember Game of Zones? I think we've come up with our own version, but it's Star Wars based.
So is Chris Paul Trae Young?
No. This is a bench player who is here to be, 2/3 coach and 1/3 player.
If you're gonna do the, not aggressive thing, and this is a step without this isn't Eric Kendricks level barely moving, but it is. It's getting away from who you've normally been, which is kind of what we're asking for here. It's not too much change all at once, which we understand you're afraid of, but it is a positive step in the right direction. And I am not opposed to letting Wemby learn anything from Chris Paul. Because who is the person that he had? Like, we were so excited about. I know this is a weird way to like parse it, but like about LaMarcus Aldridge, because LMA gets to learn from Tim. He gets to learn at the hand and the feet of Timmy and be that bridge, and that was a great thing. But like, who's that guy? Like, who is the person that Wemby has like learned anything from? Like Devin Vassell, no offense. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you've got to give him somebody. You've got to give him some sort of like older brother to run with.
Well, there is certainly no shortage of those kinds of guys out there. And this could be the one and only significant free agent move that the Spurs chase in the offseason, as we don't know which direction they're going to go. And as we get closer through the playoffs, we'll continue to keep you up to date as what we're seeing coming around the bend, though. The weekend brought a fair amount of, we're in the playoffs now and rivalries were front and center. Il Clasico went down over the weekend. Times have changed, but of rivalries, what's the biggest rivalry in sports today? And where is it? We have our thoughts. And don't forget, if you have a problem with anything we ever have to say, we air our grievances every Monday at 9:30. It's a way to start the week the right way. A Fiesta edition of airing of grievances will be here at 9:30. Dirty feeted, unpainted toenails. Yeah, grievances are coming at 9:30, but coming up, we're going to look at the possibilities of rivalries, new and old. What are the best? We'll talk about it next. He's RJ. I'm Rob. Together, we are the Morning Huddle. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position select.
I thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
GiveMeTheVin.com is America's best car buyer, paying top dollar for your car, truck, sports car, exotic. What are you waiting for? We want to buy your car right now. Find out why thousands of satisfied customers across the United States put more money in their pocket by going to GiveMeTheVin.com. I told my buyers, let's get them bought. Right now is the time to go.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
George gets justice. In life's most challenging moments, getting the right help matters most if you've been injured. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers. With a track record of success and a dedication to their clients, George gets justice. George Salinas Injury Lawyers is not just a law firm. They're your support system. Get George at George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Feel that heat? That's how it should feel when you're outdoors watching your favorite team coming up to bat, not in your home. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 and get a free quote for new energy-efficient windows.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Connecticut water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Connecticut water softener. Call the team at Connecticut at 656-PURE or online at ConnecticutSA.com. That's 656-PURE or ConnecticutSA.com, and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Have you ever lifted a piece of furniture only to discover the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not brand new? That's when you realize you need new carpet. At the Home Depot, we have a wide selection of all the top brands. Best of all, installation is included. So all you need to do is choose something that matches your style. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included with qualifying purchases. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Thanks, Jim. He'll be here at noon. That's RJ. He got here early. So did I. It's the Morning Huddle. We got here about nearly 3 hours ago, 2 hours and 40 minutes to say, and just about exactly. We were here before that. If you missed any of it, shame on you. You can go to sasportstar.com. We call it the Audio Vault, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. It's our podcast central. If we've done it live, you can catch it there at any point. Go there for all things SA Sports Star, all your updates as required as we head into the draft, all the news that's fit to read. You can find that there. And of course, you can catch that draft live with us all draft long. It will be going right over our airwaves and across the world on our channels. There are so many great rivalries in sports. To quantify what is bigger or better than others is hard to, there's the obvious ones, but there's the personal ones that Harvard, Yale, nobody cares but Harvard, Yale, but those in the middle of it, that's a big deal. We're about to get back in, and I will go ahead and argue it. It'll start as the biggest rivalry, even bigger than Michigan State, Ohio State, when Texas and Texas A&M gather anew after well over a decade apart. In 3 years, it will be the biggest and most talked about rivalry in all of football, because we'll have we'll see the full weight and measure of the SEC behind it. It's going to be big. It's not there yet. This year, it'll be the biggest, because if you just go off alumni and graduation class and budget and everything else that is Texas and Texas A&M, it's going to be big to start with. In 2 or 3 years, it will be as prominent as Ohio State, Michigan, and we'll have that place in our aura yet again.
I think that's a good one. That's really fair. I think this year will be uniquely big in that it'll be the first since.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And then next year will be like, okay, well, somebody's got to eat.
Yeah, somebody got to have some hurt feelings
right?
next year.
And so, but this is a unique one, and that it's going to transcend conferences, right? Like you're gonna, what other at least college rivalry can boast that, right? Like what other college rivalry can say like we've hated each other in 2 different conferences?
And now it'll be our third,
like
3 different
true.
conferences.
Yeah, like what other massive one? You know what I'm saying? Like so we're not quite there yet. That's percolating. It's in the oven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's still it will be as big. And I think that in college football, those kind of rivalries have come and gone. But the most consistent one has been Michigan State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame has their own, depending on your flavor, whether it be USC or Florida State. There's those rivalries that come and go. But the most consistent one in college that has the true national flavor has been Michigan State, or Michigan and Ohio State. And NFL, what's the biggest rivalry there? I think it's Chiefs-Bills. I think of now, when I think of the most notable, newsworthy week of prominence coming up in a football season, I think it's the Chiefs-Bills.
I mean, so some rivalries, like when we wrote this down, I thought about it differently because like even like Texas A&M, Ohio State, Michigan, like if you're rivals, like based off conferences or divisions or whatever, like I wouldn't put Cowboys Eagles in this mix.
No, not at all.
You're division rivals. So like the collegiate ones kind of fall in that box for me. Chiefs Bills doesn't fall in that box, but is it really a rivalry?
No, see, I can't really find one that I go, man, not like the Cowboys Steelers back in the day where they just hated each other. Well, you just couldn't wait.
To be a rivalry, each team has to win.
Right.
So like Chiefs Bills, yes, the Bills have won some regular season.
But it's competitive. Cool. There's
no
doubt.
But every game of significance between the Chiefs and the Bills has been won by one team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like I have a hard time saying.
Yeah, you're right. So I quantify part of the rivalry as one. There has to be some give and take.
For a while, I thought that Chiefs Bengals, and it still has that potential. I mean, the Bengals
Chiefs Bengals is
an
good.
AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs beat them in an AFC Championship game, and so that had a chance. Still has a chance. If there's a non-divisional rivalry in the NFL that has a chance, it's Chiefs Bengals.
Is it good or bad that we can't pinpoint one?
It's Mahomes' fault. That's really all it is, right? Like,
true that.
I mean, no, seriously, like that's the truth. Like, it's just his fault that we can't because he wins everything.
NBA, is there anything? Oh no, go ahead.
I would offer. So right now we're in the middle of Rangers Astros. Now they are division rivals and they're interstate rivals, intrastate rivals, but they both won the World Series.
Mm-hmm. So there's something there.
So there's you've that's an important element to all this, and one beat the other en route to winning the World Series. So you've got that going on. Like that's a really juicy one.
You know what? Is it really?
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think we're going to need another couple years of the Rangers being good before I really start thinking.
Maybe
I can't wait. I'm not sure we're there yet.
No, I mean I'm not saying that like this isn't equal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean on the balance scale, but like it was one sided. You know what I'm saying? The Rangers won the World Series, so like they leveled it a bit. In the NBA, I would be tempted to put Celtics Sixers, but the Celtics win all the time.
Yeah, that's a long-standing rivalry. And anything with the Knicks, Celtics, and Sixers goes back 100 years. So yeah, I get it. But right now, I would have thought maybe the Celtics the Sixers Heat. Maybe there was something, but no, not there. No. Lakers Clippers. No, I don't really get the sense though.
Let me put it to you this way: if you could watch one NBA game that didn't involve the Spurs, you can dream it up. You can weave it however you want. You can pick the two teams. You can pick the court they play on. What two teams and what court?
And off of history or just currently right now?
Right now.
Well, right now, I can't wait to see a Minnesota-Boston game.
That's not a rivalry. I mean,
no, I know, but as far as a rivalry,
it is. But
shoot, Denver, LA, but there's no rivalry there. Denver owns them.
Decided. I mean, see, I agree with Claymore. Says hype and on-field court must match to make it a good rivalry.
Right.
That's why the Astros Rangers kind of works, because there's a little bit of jawing going on.
There's a little bit. You're right. It's
so there's some of that there, and that's why the Chiefs Bengals kind of works, because you had the Burrowhead stuff. Like You've got to have. There's got to be some indication that somebody doesn't like the other person.
Well, Astros Dodgers is percolating. I appreciate that, Gilbert.
That's not a rivalry. When have the Dodgers beaten the Astros in a game of consequence?
There's a little bit of rivalry there.
One team beat the other. It's not a rivalry. I mean,
well, I mean the cheating and the trash can and there's something there. But you're right. What about? It's funny. We're not Northeast, so we don't talk about Yankees Sox, but that's still a thing, right?
You could go Padres Dodgers.
Yeah, but that's a regional. The
recently.
Yankees Sox is a little bit more national than because
Well,
anything to do with
Army,
the
Navy have zip. There's that. I mean,
yeah, but that's
Now, I agree with Morvey. Says Suns versus Mavs rivalry. You have the Luka, Devin Booker stuff like that. You've got some drawing there. That one's in the conversation at least. Like because you've got to have some dislike of people on the team.
International stuff. It's El Clasico.
English soccer has it's international soccer in general has. You mentioned El Clasico was yesterday. I mean, that's one of the oldest rivalries there are. I mean, but the cool thing about like the Premier League is like everybody has a rival.
But what's the Manchesters when they go at each other? That's a big one.
Well, they'll meet each other in the FA Cup final on May 25th as a result of the weekend's action. So you've got, in the Premier League, when you play your crosstown rival, which is what will happen between Manchester United and Manchester City, that is called a derby. That's the Manchester derby. There's the London derby, right? Like there's these derbies. This is how they say it, relative to the cities and towns that they play in. So there's a rivalry there. But I mean, every English Premier League team hates like 5 teams. Like Man United hates Arsenal and Liverpool and City.
Okay.
I mean, so there's a lot going on. But
all right, I got some more questions.
Okay.
Best rivalry: Jerry Jones versus the fans. Hey, he's all in. Are we? The San Antonio rivals. Okay, so Spurs. Our rivals, the Rockets, right? Or is it my deep? I dislike them both for a lot of reasons, but for some reason, it'll always be the Mavericks for me. The Mavericks are my biggest rival will always be the Mavs. Although the Rockets right now are current, but because we're on kind of the same path. But for me,
let me ask you 2 questions relative to that. What was the most satisfying Spurs playoff win ever in your mind?
Oh, the Pistons, Game 5.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I mean, yeah. But apart from that,
How
a
about
couple
series
of
win? Most satisfying.
there was a
series
couple
win.
of
Maybe
comeback
it's
wins
that
against the Mavericks in the early rounds when they'd get like up 2-0 and they'd get all cocky and we'd roll in and beat them 4-2. Those were always fun. But the most recently one, the rivalry that I've enjoyed the most was finalized with the Manu block, and that was against the Rockets. So,
yeah, but again, like, did you ever? That never felt like a rivalry. I
well,
mean,
no, but but it's Rocket fan.
So for me, because for a rivalry, there has to be some sort of like revenge established. And so I have another question, and it's a complicated one for the Spurs. But for me, I wouldn't call the Heat a rival of the Spurs. Maybe you could call LeBron if you want. But the most satisfied I've ever been as a Spurs fan was the
comeback
finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a matter of restoring order. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't just like restoring order; it was vanquishing. It was, I mean, completely obliterating it. Was so satisfying. So I'm inclined to say them.
Oh yeah, man! Watching the playoffs over the weekend, it put me in the mind of that year, and how jealous I am of everybody that's in the middle or defending or going through it, and how poorly I thought OKC fan represented last night. It was just terrible. But I hated the Spurs equally as a Mavs fan. I think Mavs looked south to us more than anybody else.
What then opposing NBA player has bothered you the most?
Kobe.
As a Spurs fan.
No, Kobe. 1,000 times Kobe. I have nightmares still about Kobe, and I've reflected many times since. It's unfortunate that I hated him so much because I spent so much of my time despising him. I didn't revel in his greatness enough because I just hate it. I'd look down their schedule and I'd see Kobe coming. Whether he had Shaq, I didn't care. It was Kobe. He was the devil. He was everything encompassed in what you had to be better than. And and so many times the Spurs weren't. And because of that, I just despised him. So no, there's no question in my mind above and beyond Kobe 1,000 times.
I think the Lakers are a good example or a good answer for a lot of reasons. But because for there to be a team rivalry, you have to have these moments from other people. So like, I get why people think of the Spurs as a rival, because it's like, it was Tim this time and it was Manu that time. And it was it was Robert Horry in Game 5 of the 05 finals. I mean, whatever. And so like similarly, it was Derek Fisher. You know what I mean? Like you have to have those moments from the like. I don't want to call them the role players, but from the non-Kobe's. And so the Lakers checks out in that sense. I think the Lakers is probably the best example. Maybe you could say like the Suns. I could go that
for a brief shining moment.
Just that one was the 07, that series, the body check stuff. But that was really it for me.
But real quickly, as we run out of time on this hour, we do want to hear from you on the Brigade Bar 656-3776. You can text them. We're looking for the UTSA primary rival. Who are the Spurs primary rival? Cowboys, if you have one. The biggest rivalries in sports. We want to hear from all of them. UTSA, new conference, new teams. I thought Houston was becoming a primary rival, though they're not in the same conference anymore, though I do like that as a potential long-term rivalry. Who is UTSA? It's not Texas State, is it?
I think that's the answer. It's just not a satisfying
one.
They're on the verge of promotion to a new rival. We'll figure out.
We're gonna have to figure but
because it's hard. Like LSU never became A&M's rival.
We tried
Even
to.
the like 7 overtime game didn't help. It's just it's some things. What's your favorite Lastly, favorite rivalry that you're not a part of, like you don't have a skin in the game on? I think I'd go Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah, most of them I've already brought up. I guess the primary one, even though it's not prominence as far as importance in the world, Army Navy to me. No fighting interest in either as an Air Force vet and that type. But my gosh, of all the rivalries, it's the purest. Does Scheffler have a rival right now?
No, you gotta have people who beat you.
Him versus the field, I guess, is the biggest rival, much as RJ versus the field as far as greatness out there. We're going to continue to highlight and showcase that greatness in the coming hours. Settle in. Enjoy your Monday. We got Spurs. We got draft. We got playoffs. We got you. We'll be right back on 94.1.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel free. Just text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more, you know when it's less, and when you pair them together, you can win big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those three massive TVs all around, all the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743445.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA playoffs are in full force. A busy schedule over the weekend. The Celtics took care of the Heat 114-94. The Clippers surprised the Mavs. Easy win, 109-97 without Kawhi. The Bucks without the Freak. It was easy as they paced the Pacers 109-94, and the Thunder came back late to beat the Zionless Pelicans 94-92. Your Rangers, well, they had a nice win. They took down the Braves 6-4.
Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. There's a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. Listen appropriately. That's RJ. He's the managing editor of Blogging the Boys and had a busy weekend as we're charging face first into the 24 draft. It's Thursday night. We'll have it live right here on San Antonio Sports Star throughout both Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It happens here first. We do need a swing update, RJ, from Gilbert. We will be getting that. We will also air our grievances appropriately. And man, I got a few. That's at 9:30. I need it, man. Even though I'm coming off vacation, I should be in a better mood. But as my day has gone on, despite your glowing and wonderful presence in my life, I'm a little surly. I got to let it go. So that's at 9:30.
Well, so just quickly on the swing set update.
Oh, good.
It rained on the day that I was supposed to put it together, so that did not happen.
You have a garage though.
I mean, you know,
is it plastic or is it metal? Is it a combination of both?
It's wood.
Oh, okay. You went the wood. Okay, so you got a couple of big boxes laying out in your garage right now. How many
There
tools
are-
are going to be required? Does the thing say what kind of tools you need?
I haven't opened anything yet.
Oh no. Do
but
you have an
I-
electric screwdriver?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and I've got everything.
How's your
charged.
ratchet game? You got good ratchet set?
Yeah, I've got an electric screwdriver and an electric drill. Where you know what I mean?
That you can monitor, you can regulate the
yeah,
speed.
we're
So
gonna
you're
be
good.
okay on that
Your
front.
ratchet game solid?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, how about
so
tool
we just
belt? You
had-
got a good tool belt?
No, I've never been a belt
Oh,
guy,
come
you
on,
know.
RJ. How old are you?
Why do I need a belt?
Because there's an age. There's some things.
got a-
You didn't get yours in the mail?
I've got a box. you know
At
what I mean, that I
26,
put
everybody
everything.
needs a tool belt.
Why?
Now, you're
It's
not
just gonna
using
weigh
it
me
yet.
down.
But by
Sometimes you gotta
30.
lay down and do stuff like that. Like I don't need the
Well, I'm
belt.
not saying it's a
you know.
hard belt. It's just it's a matter of if you're not walking around with a drill at your side for any purpose at any given time, you're just not doing it right. Half the fun is having the tool belt.
I'd say for myself, I
Oh,
I'm
you
not
need a
gonna
tool
do
belt.
that, but
Wait till
I'm
you
happy-
show your wife your tool belt with nothing else.
I don't know what that's
Oh,
like. But it
RJ.
sounds like you have a lot of experience.
Well, I'm just saying that life has progress and stages, and you're to the stage where you need a tool belt. But
the belt would just weigh me down. Though. Again, I need to
no,
be
you're
quick and
good.
agile and
The new
fast.
tool belts are above and beyond, man. This isn't your daddy's tool belt.
Wow.
Made of ballistic nylon. Just top-notch stuff. But you'll get it done. But I just want to make sure you have the proper tools. Are you going to have some help? Is the lovely
Yeah, my
Mrs.
dad's gonna help
Oh,
me.
your dad's going to come. So your
So,
dad's going to do it, and you're going to help.
No, I mean we're both going to do this.
I
It's
know the
gonna take
dynamic.
Some time and some effort, and that's why it was raining, and we just weren't able to do. We had the time carved out, and so I didn't have this is something I ended up doing. So instead, I just watched a billion sports all day.
I watched entirely too much sports. I spent it on the weekend. So I'm intrigued by you doing this with your father. I do a lot of things with my dad because I live on the same property. So a lot of stuff we're doing hand in hand. And I'm of an age, I don't like to talk about my age, but I'm old enough to where I should never feel like I was a 12-year-old holding the flashlight. But every time I work with my father, I become the 12-year-old giggling with a flashlight in my hand where I can't do it right. I become that guy at this
I
age.
did something yesterday that is not along those lines specifically, but on the flashlight lines you speak of, where I felt like a dad, which I am. But I was vacuuming out. Speaking of being a dad, the just chaos underneath the car seat that there is. I mean, it's just I don't even know how this dude gets.
It's amazing,
crumbs
isn't
where
it?
he does. And so, but it was too dark in there, so I went and got my headlight and I turned it on.
You have a headband headlight, nice. All right.
Oh, dude, it's really
Respect.
cool. It actually, it's
with
it
the right
has
tool belt, you
different
could have a little
modes.
holder for it.
So it has a light like all across your forehead, or the classic like your temple light. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, so you can do either one. I
Yeah.
used it to walk the dog at night sometimes, but then I was doing it and I was using the light that was all across my forehead, and it was getting really hot because the light was on. So I was kind of like, man, I need to hurry. You know what I mean? So it's all this like pressure that I generated on myself and energy.
Did you jump on him? Like, hey, hold it straight.
I didn't, but I didn't have to. But yeah, so I did a lot of dad activity, even though I didn't put together the swing.
My dad still has to jump on me. Will you hold the light straight? I become the 12-year-old. Will you hand me a Phillips, and I'll hand him the wrong one.
Wow.
It's an ongoing part of life.
That's life.
I look forward to you having it together, and you're going to put it together. It's going to be beautiful. He's going to play on it for about an hour, and then from that point on, it's going to gather dust. And
That's
I hope that's not the way. I do.
At the very least, it will provide a new thing for the dogs to pee on.
Yeah, there you go.
I
And
will
another
have that
thing for you to have to weed eat around, which is
Right,
always a joy.
exactly.
So plan for that appropriately too. Maybe a rock area, because I'm speaking from experience as such that we have gained over the time. And one of the experiences we have learned over the last 8 years or so is that the Cowboys just cannot get the Dak Prescott situation right. No matter at every turn from the last 8 years, they have just, when it came to money, it just didn't go well. It took too long. The overpaid, underpaid, not appreciated, overappreciated. Well, here we sit 3 days prior to the draft. And there are still rumors floating around over the last couple of weeks that the Cowboys could draft a quarterback in the first round. That is a legitimate thing that could occur. And Dak still sits unsigned past next year. And we hadn't heard from him till over the weekend. And Friday night, he had a speaking engagement. I think the only time we ever hear from him is when he's working with this particular children's cancer organization, because this is twice over the last couple of months that he's been out. I think working with the same group.
One this event called his predecessors into action. Tony Romo was there, and Troy Aikman was there. So there was this photo that Troy Aikman posted, and it was
I didn't
Tony
see
Romo,
that till
Dak
this morning.
Prescott, Troy Aikman. And instead of somebody saying like, "Wow, these men are responsible for so many great memories that I've had, and this is so great," I tweeted that photo out, and all I got was like 2 losers in Troy.
No, man. What the?
Yeah, 3 combined Super Bowls between them, and they're all Troy's. Yeah, these dudes wish they were Troy's. Like, can you just not be happy about anything ever at any point in life? So, yeah.
Well, they asked him, Dak, that is, about the status of his contract and where he stands. And when was the last time we heard from him? It's a couple of weeks ago, right? About a month.
It's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, well, not a lot has changed. This is him on Friday.
Honestly, I'm focused on the moment, on the now. The talks begin and real talks get to happen. Sure, we can talk about getting that done. But in this case right now, honestly, I'm worried about just getting better, being better tomorrow than I am at this moment. So leaving that up to my agent and Jerry at this point. And when those talks begin, I'll be more involved, obviously. So no talks to that. Are you surprised with no talks to that? No, I mean, I've been in conversation. I've talked to Jerry, and so I understand where we are, obviously. And Jerry's mentioned the same, so there's not any gray area in that sense. So, yeah.
He talked about the cap and all the situations and why they're not doing it.
We had a great conversation. We had a great conversation that put us aligned and where we are and moving forward, or where we are in this moment, I should say. And we'll address moving forward as that comes about.
You may recognize the voice asking those questions. That's Clarence Hill Jr., the Fort Worth Star Telegram, good friend of the show, and RJ Ochoa. They've had firm discussions and no conversations. I don't get where they are. They've talked, though they haven't talked.
This really isn't a complicated thing. It really doesn't involve much conversation. I mean, what did the last guy get? Here's a little bit more. Boom, done. Let's go get Chipotle for lunch. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it really does not take much effort. They are overcomplicating this in the name. They still believe that their precious little Forbes ranking brand is going to cause or influence Dak or anyone to take less. Dude, no, it's not going to work anymore. This is, I feel like the coach in D3, your little duck tricks will not work here anymore. It's 2024. Last week, Rob, Patrick Mahomes was named the most influential athlete by Time Magazine. Where does he play professional sports? In Kansas City, Missouri. Do you think the Chiefs have anywhere near? Do you think the Chiefs have anywhere near the brand value of the Cowboys?
No, but yes. Because of Mahomes, wherever Mahomes goes, that's where the biggest brand is, and that heightens their brand. But no, the Cowboys brand is preeminent in the United States lexicon. It doesn't matter the sport.
2023, the Dallas Cowboys were obviously the most valuable NFL franchise in the world, obviously in America, at $9 billion. Okay, they clear second place New England by $2 billion. New England's at $7 billion.
Distant.
Okay, so again, Patrick Mahomes, who we just talked about. I want you to guess where the Chiefs are on this list.
Probably about 10.
They are 23rd.
23rd amongst all of the franchises, or just the
with
NFL.
An evaluation of $4.3 billion. The
So-
Dallas Cowboys are worth over twice as much as a team that is worth $4.3 billion. And they still believe that they're this brand that players need.
Well, they are. It's not a matter of, that's not false. It is a brand
Maybe
that
your
players.
obscure players, maybe your
Well, yeah.
non-quarterbacks, fine. But Dak does not need the Cowboys to become a superstar or to maintain superstar status.
Okay. Now, here's where I disagree. I don't think Dak will be a superstar, couldn't be a superstar anyplace else. The only place he could be a superstar, regardless of skill or output, would be Dallas.
So Dak is coming to you for advice. Okay.
He
Rob.
should, by the way. Dakota, come here and sit down, sir. I'm going to iron. You're going to listen.
Rob, do you think that I should take less with the Cowboys in the name of earning potential off the field?
On with just that statement, no.
Yeah.
It's a nuanced one though, but just with those words as your no.
That's their point. That's
Right.
their quote unquote leverage. That's what they really think they're working with here.
But there
it's
is
wrong.
something to that. There is something to what they're saying. There's a reason why CAA took Dak Prescott, because there's a lot of money there to squeeze out of that plum. But more than that, relationship that you have to, the good with the bad with the Cowboys, the circus that comes with it comes with more money. And being a player with the Dallas Cowboys, not only as a regional brand guy, because you get to advertise from Dallas south to San Antonio. I see a lot of Acme Brick commercials with Troy Aikman down here, and that's running in Dallas. And you get to
That's
go
fine,
north to
but
Oklahoma City, so there's local money more than you're going to get in a lot of places, but you're
there's
also a
way
national
more
brand carrier.
vitriol. You're gonna take so much more heat. Your unborn daughter is gonna take heat before she's born, and then she's gonna be born, and your family's gonna take heat like that. It's gonna happen to you on a level that nobody's gonna experience. Justin Herbert's team blew a 23-point lead in the playoffs last year. Has anybody ever come for him the way that they come for Dak? No. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. I
Jalen
think
Hurts
you're
had a
proving my
fumble
point.
to
I think
lose
you're
the Super
proving
Bowl.
my point.
Does anybody talk about him? No,
Because
you're
he's with
so
the
much
Cowboys.
more insulated everywhere else.
You're
I mean,
insulated
so-
and safe. You're right, but you're also not going to make the money, win, lose, or draw that you will with Dallas. So if you're going to go,
I
is there
disagree.
any team?
All I'm saying, no, I'm just saying it's not an exclusively beneficial thing.
No,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not.
Like,
You pay a price. There's no question.
that's what I'm saying. So like the Cowboys aren't doing Dak some favor. They're also opening him up to a whole different sphere of criticism. And so whatever, and especially so by dragging him through the mud like this, by putting him through this whole experience of like, I don't know, we're gonna see, we're talking, we're figuring it out, like whatever. No quarterback, Rob. He's coming off second in MVP voting. I mean, how many teams would line up to pay the second place finisher in MVP voting?
Well,
how many?
Well, judging by what we're hearing, we might find out sooner than later, right? I mean, he just said there'd been no conversation about it. He is trying to do the best he can. He will take less, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be the highest paid necessarily. So we'll wait until the negotiations begin, and obviously want to put this team in the best situation. So
that wasn't just us laughing. That was the press in the room too. As we heard, that's Dak Prescott on Friday evening, talking post appearance.
Honestly, though, him saying that, I don't buy that. First of all,
no, neither do I.
I'm not buying that at all. But he at least said something. We've played every piece of relevant audio that has happened over the course of the offseason. What have the Cowboys said? What have they said about anything? We want to make him this. We're willing to make him that. We don't want to do this. Have they offered anything? Again, not only is Dak Prescott in a position of higher leverage than the Cowboys, but he's also playing this game better than they are. They're doing nothing. I mean, like they're doing, and there are people that will hate Dak no matter what, and that will just scream and cry and whine and tweet and complain and whatever. Dak sucks and playoff records and this and that or whatever, and they will ignore all facts and data. But Dak is even keeled and calm and playing this wisely, whereas the Cowboys are bumbling, stumbling, and spilling all over themselves. They have no idea who they're dealing with here, and that's why they continue to lose.
That's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. This show is the Morning Huddle. We air our grievances every Monday at 9:30. So if there's something boiling in your gut that you just got to let get out, that's about the right time to do it. We'll continue talking Cowboys all week long. The draft will be live right here on San Antonio Sports Star starting Thursday night, and we'll take you gavel to gavel, as they're apt to say. Coming back, players who want to play with a Wimby. There is no doubt that there are players out there, but I'll put it to you, RJ. It takes a special player to say, you know what? I want to be Scottie Pippen. You know what? I want to be Robin. You know what? I want to be the 1A or the 2 to the number 1. Who are those guys? Because not everybody can do that. While they're creeping into the DMs are the right guys doing it? We'll talk about that potential. Coming around the bend, talking Spurs and NBA before we grievance air. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select
This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Goes the next Mr. Irrelevant.
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Spring has sprung and it's full tilt boogie time at GiveMeTheVin.com. I'm a speculator. I'm overpaying for cars because I think they're going to go up even higher from where they are right now. We'll pay off your payoff. We'll pick your stuff up. We'll quote you quick and easy at GiveMeTheVin.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Are your windows struggling to keep up with the game? It's time to upgrade with Maverick Windows. Stay ahead of the competition with energy-efficient windows. Call Maverick Windows at 800-972-3631. That's 800-972-3631 to get a free quote.
Have you ever lifted a piece of furniture only to discover the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not brand new? That's when you realize you need new carpet. At the Home Depot, we have a wide selection of all the top brands. Best of all, installation is included. So all you need to do is choose something that matches your style. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included with qualifying purchases. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Missions Baseball returns Tuesday night at Wolf Stadium. Join us for AARP $2 Tuesday, presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. First pitch is at 7:05. Go to samissions.com for tickets.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America NA.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Your home for the Dallas Cowboys is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Remember, if there's a guest, you're hearing them via the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricade provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. It's going to be a busy week. We're kind of gaining steam, not only around the world, but San Antonio, man. It's a fiesta week. A lot of presenteeism going to be going on this week.
It is. It's not the best time of the year. We've established this already, but it is the busiest time of the year, I think, because we put football in its own box, right? This was something Jason and I talked about. Just remember that you weren't here for this. So we decided the football season is the best time of the year, but it's really organized, right? Because you have football on these days of the week. So you have your kind of days in between to figure stuff out. But this time of the year, you have Fiesta, which is like all the time. You have NBA playoff games all the time. You have NHL playoff games all the time. I mean, soon enough, kids are out of school and they're home all the time. You know what I mean? Like everything is just happening on a daily, perpetual basis. So this is the busiest time.
There's a lot of people went, oh, gosh. They're almost done. I can't wait for the day where we have to plan our Fiesta around playoff games. That's when Fiesta is at its literal best.
Next year.
We could be that close. Oklahoma City playing last year, first seed this year. So it could happen quicker than we think, though, looking and judging the tea leaves, the further the Spurs are getting away from the regular season and headed into the off season, it looks like this is going to be kind of if a good offer comes around, we'll take it. But there's no active, we're chasing this guy or that dude right now. He's part of the plan. I think the plan as far as free agency kicks in next year and how this draft plays in after the lottery, where Toronto lands, I think will have a major role in that. But we heard over the weekend, Wemby, in what was his in-depth and long interview, as I think he's done this year, Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer hosted him some point last week. He tweeted out earlier in the week, before I went on my little vacay, that something was brewing with Victor, and then we get this hour-long drop. And first and foremost, what a really kind of great picture as to who Victor is as a person at this time in his life.
He is a really introspective person. It feels like he doesn't do anything unless he legitimately cares about it. Thankfully, he legitimately cares a lot about basketball and the Spurs. He's also, super into his fantasy novels, or I don't even know if that's the right term, science fiction novels. I mean, like he reads one of one.
Well, he reads the kind of books that a lot of 19-year-olds are reading.
Right.
I mean, that series in particular, that's a worldwide bestseller. And it just struck me at how much has changed over the years, but how many things have stayed the same. The type of guy that he is, the effect that he's had on the league. It is literally, it's not deja vu. It's what's the third time is there. It just feels so much like I'm witnessing this young guy about to become the greatness. And I've seen it happen twice before. And these two that have done it before, this guy seems so much alike the other two. Like if you were to put together two superstars and let's create the next from what was the Frankenstein, for lack of a better term, from the greatness, he's got the introspection of David and the athletic prowess that David brought that no one had ever seen before. And he's got the nonchalance and just this, go lucky air of a kid. But as the season went on, you could see that killer, just I want to beat you in every way possible mentality. That it's not that didn't have parent with Tim. That Tim was laughing around joking until he walked on the court and he's hugging a basketball and about to kill you with it. And you could start to see that with Victor as the season went on. And I just felt like, my goodness, I'm seeing what I've seen before. And it's all the good attributes. And then I think, who wants to play with a guy like that?
Have you ever seen, I've seen before, like different outlets will do like, it quite looks like Frankenstein, like a image, like building the perfect quarterback. And they literally will take like somebody's arm and somebody's like bottom half and somebody's like helmet and like whatever. And it looks really gross, like the way they've put this whole thing together. To your point, it kind of feels like Wemby is that, right? Like we took these like qualities of David and qualities of Tim and qualities of Bruce and even qualities of Kawhi, like, you know what I mean? Like all the like greatest people to ever wear this uniform. And we put them all in and like,
and here he is, the
like,
freak, the alien, whatever we want to call him.
I mean, we're a year in and it still feels too good to be true. I mean,
with every passing moment, you still kind of got to pinch yourself like, this kid's ours. This guy's going to be here for a minute. Now, with that being said, we talked about Trae Young, but we have to remember guys are going to be calling him, and there's rumors, even acknowledge the fact that other players are reaching out. But to play with Wemby, we talked about it, what Devin and Keldon had to deal with. You have to respect the fact that when you arrive, that you're not going to be one. You'll be maybe 1A. You might be Dame on nights off. But the fact of the matter is, when you step here, you arrive knowing your highest and best calling is Hall of Fame Scottie Pippen. I mean, that's your highest and best calling. You are and will ever be considered the other guy. Now, it might be a little while where we get a Kobe and Shaq situation. I don't want that because I know that's imminent to crack. That's imminent to fall apart. That one had to go and had to be. Shaq had to be away from Kobe. Kobe had to be away from Shaq. I don't want to go get a guy that at some point has to get away, that I got to go be my own. I want to find a guy that's happy being Scottie Pippen. There's not a lot of those guys.
I think that people reach that point in life or in their careers because they're sort of forced to, right? Like Chris Paul kind of checks that box, right? Like, you're not that guy anymore. You know what I mean? Like this is, if you want to be a guy, this is the only guy that you can be right now. And so that's unfortunate. That paints Scottie in a bad light. And Scottie,
this is not a bad light. This is Hall of Fame, make more money than you ever dreamed of, hug a bunch of trophies, and live the life like you should. But you'll always be mentioned second.
Well, I mean, again, that's a bad light to paint someone in.
Hell, I'd take it.
Some people would, but some people wouldn't. You know what I mean? And and then some people would say like, well, the fact that you would take that is why I wouldn't want you, because you're fine settling for second, right? Like it's this weird sort of
well, how does that, as we look out in this grand expanse of NBA talent, whether immediately available or imminently, we have to be careful of that. When you look at Trae Young, do you think Trae Young could come in and go, well, I'm gonna pass this shot up and give it to Wemby?
I'm going to answer that question with a question. Has he lost enough? Because generally,
what a great question.
Somebody has to have lost enough to be worn down.
No.
And I think that, not that this isn't a perfectly analogous example, but Kevin Durant had lost enough in Oklahoma City. Now, he didn't go anywhere to be anybody Scottie Pippen, or maybe he did and everything just changed, but he had lost enough to where he was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So has Trae Young lost enough? And I don't even mean from a quantitative standpoint, but has he come close enough to where he's lost enough over and over and over again that it's finally worn thin?
I don't get that sense.
I don't think he has.
I don't get that sense either. And, even if you are of the mindset like, man, I'm going to need some help. It took Dame a decade. And finally, he manufactured a way to go get some help. But that's the kind of guy.
KD, what decade? I mean, you have to have that like worn down in you to where you say I need help.
And Rocky,
I don't care what anybody's going to say about me needing help.
And those guys, you got to keep in mind, the NBA guy has been the best player that everybody's ever known for most of his life. That when he goes home, he is the singular hometown athlete like nobody has ever seen before or since. He's an NBA guy. And
he's had his Scotties.
And yes, and he's had his Scotties.
Like, I can't be my Scotty. I'm not him. You know what I mean? I'm me.
And I get it. That's why these guys are great. They got to the NBA because of that. So I get that not everybody can be a Scottie Pippen. So as we charge into this offseason, I do think that the second question everybody should ask is not, do you want to come here, but can you stay here? Are you going to be able to exist inside of this bubble being forever the guy? Enough about what I think about Wemby. What do you think about Wemby? That's going to be the question that they're always going to get. And can you take that life? I think it took a while for Devin to accept that no matter how good a game you have, you had a hell of a game. Tell me about Wemby's game. That's a hard, and you think Trey is ready for that or any of these other eminents? It's one of those questions we got to follow. That'll play into the draft as well. It'll play into free agency. But before we do that, let's air some grievances. Coming back, let that steam out, baby. It's going to be a fun week. You might as well attack it with the Zen-like attitude. That is appropriate. We'll be right back talking grievances. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I love Mondays because I get to talk about my good friends over at the Institute for Functional Health, Dr. Jacob Torres and the kind. I'll tell you what, while Fiesta might not be the easiest week to go through a weight loss program, let me tell you one of the easiest things to do is be on a weight loss program from the Institute for Functional Health and face a week like Fiesta, because you know full well everything you're doing leads you to a week like this where you're allowed to dabble a little bit and take in a couple more calories than you ordinarily would, because that's out of the norm. You know how to eat, you know how to live, and you've seen it in your belt getting bigger or smaller and smaller and smaller. That's been me over the last several years, down 70 pounds. I continue to charge forward with the program that Dr. Torres put together me so long ago, because he put it together only for me. Now, there are basic premises that go into weight loss, and those have not changed long before I arrived. But what he has done is put that together with a psychological approach and a physical and medical approach that works for so many different people on so many different levels. So if you have come to the time where it is lose weight or start taking some pills you don't want to pay for, or start dealing with some stuff with medical issues that you just don't want to deal with, call Dr. Torres. There might be a reason why you put on all that weight that nobody's found yet. That's what they're so good at. It's the Institute for Functional Health. You can find them online at iffhealth.com, but the best way you can do it is give him a call. The number is 210-468-1891. Easy to remember. Make a call today. Talk to Dr. Torres. He'll change your life. And when he does, I want you to thank me later.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
Austin Clunch, the new UTSA men's basketball coach, joining us here on the Blitz.
Listen, this is a basketball decision when you come to UTSA. We're going to put you in a position to ultimately develop, and put yourself in the best position to go be a pro. Very similar to how Coach Oates has done it at Alabama, right? And I think this is going to be an opportunity, for guys that, maybe haven't, had that, chance or played this style to come here and really show what they can do.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-785-9545. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-785-9545 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack track your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-785-9545 to see if you qualify. That's 800-785-9545.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile Smart Quad Door refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed, fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and RJ Ochoa.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Here are the grievances with Rob and RJ.
Let it out. Let it go. Don't let it fester. We do it every Monday. We air the grievances from the weekend so that you can begin the week anew, washed clean, with the help of the Morning Huddle. RJ, I will give you the honors if there's anything you need to exhale to start your week properly. And anybody else, you can sound off like you got a pair. Text us at 656-3776. You can get on the Brigade Bar at our YouTube feed. I'd say you could call us, but that'll be one of my gripes. Go ahead, RJ.
So for me, mine is technology related. As a lot of our grievances tend to be. And by the way, Hunter Hitch here in the Brigade Bar says,
he's right.
Grievance. NBA and NHL playoffs are on at the same time, and no, I don't want to watch them in multi-view. I agree with that. I bought the TV I bought so I could watch everything.
But hockey on a small part is not. You can't.
That's what I'm saying. Well, like, stagger the games. One at 4 o'clock, one at 7. Follow the NFL's model.
It's incumbent on. I will say with that grievance though, it's incumbent on the NHL to fill the gap, not for the NBA to allow space. You know what I mean? Choose another time. Choose do whatever. It's the NBA's the big dog. You got to catch up with them.
All I'm saying is the NBA took up every time.
They did their best, didn't they? They absolutely did.
my grievance is when was the last time you looked up a menu for a place on your phone?
Oh, every time I go anywhere. They're only
Right,
now
so
coming back.
This bothers me though. So you're gonna go somewhere to eat, pick whatever you want in your mind. You're like, or you're gonna order it, or you know,
Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, so you're gonna go to I don't know if this is true at Cheesecake Factory, so I feel bad.
I don't know, but I just when you say menu, I think of that one, which is a book.
Okay. So let's say your wife, lets text you, hey Rob, I'm gonna pick up Cheesecake Factory for dinner on my way home. Let me know what you want. Look at the menu. So you go to Google Cheesecake Factory menu, whatever. You go to the website. You got to punch in your location. You got to go through like 10 different steps to get to the menu. Why can you not why is this a chore? You have to go like you're actually going to order takeout. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through all the process. Here's my address. Here's whatever, this and that. Here's my credit card. Here's my social. Here's my thumbprint. You know what I mean? Here's a sample. Why can't you just show me the menu? I don't know why this is impossible for establishments. We live in 2024. You should have a digital version of your menu available at a moment's notice.
And why would your menu be so radically different? If you're is your town's menu better than the one I have? Like, is that location over at
why do I have
755 not better than the 242? I mean, I want to know, is there something I'm missing out for the local one? No, the ordering on websites, and I saw a whole thing on Jon Stewart or whatever, one of those shows about just exposing Uber and all the stuff that, the poor Uber delivery guys get the way that everybody gets treated and all that. I get it. But the restaurants could do a better job all the way. But I'm not very good. I
don't know why there have to be that many obstacles in finding the menu. I'm trying to give you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why you have to make it so complicated for me.
Fred Casares on the Brigade Bar. My grievance is the Cowboys are drafting a freaking wide receiver when we need an offensive tackle, a center, a defensive tackle, or a middle linebacker. Well, yeah, but the guy's really fast. Have you seen him?
He's super duper.
He's
fast.
really fast.
Super duper fast.
Okay, a couple of grievances.
You can do this.
One of the jobs, you work in a medium where our job here is we talk into microphones. Mm-hmm. We work in communication. I'm a little grieved that we've had some gremlins in the machine. I can't figure out what it is. We've been unable to talk to our producer all show long. Like, literally can't say. I can see him. See, he's waving at me. But there is a ghost in this freaking machine that is, I'm going to lose my mind. So forgive us. See, look, there's Edwin. He's alone in the box. And if you look really closely, you'll see Halen behind him trying to fix the problem. We can't talk to each other. So as much as you guys are on the other side and you can talk to me, you can get on the Brigade Bar. You can't call because he can't answer the phone. I have a little grievance there, but above and beyond that. Do you want to go Fiesta? I'm gonna go Fiesta related because we're all dealing with this, and we're all back into large crowds. And it's been a minute. I know. And the last time we were in a large crowd was the rodeo, and in the rodeo we're all dressed up in our rodeo finest. Normally it's long sleeves and big boots, and we're not walking through a bunch of stuff. Now that we're out and it's hot, bathe appropriately. I shouldn't have to say that in this day and age. Wow. It's hot and sticky. We haven't been amongst people in a minute. And I'm not talking about stink. I'm just talking about
because they just get gooey and sticky and stick all over everything.
Wash your feet.
Wow.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Just clean yourself up, man. By the end of the night, some of y'all just a mess. And I was one of them. I get it. But go home, clean yourself up, and make sure you get all the confetti off from the night before. That's just like not wiping off the stamp on your wrist.
Okay.
I have another. So, this is my first and foremost one.
That one was a weird one.
No, it was. I'm just telling you.
I got seemed oddly targeted at somebody. I don't know.
No, it wasn't just one. I was at a thing. Yes, I have a Mozzie Smith grievance. If you're walking in Fiesta, if you are in one of those moving channels, and we all know when you're in a big crowd, there's these channels of movement that go on. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to get through the crowd to the other side, and there is no way around the crowd. You're going to have to go through the crowd. The Nyosa crowd, we saw it at Oyster Bake, we saw it at Taste, and there's more crowds coming. Don't stop. If you stop, step aside. If you are part of that stream, if you are moving through the crowd and we all jump in it, we're trying to get from frontier land over to French country or wherever it is, and we got to get there. And the only way to get there is through the crowd. There is no walkway. It's all one big crowd. Don't just stop. Keep moving or step aside. That falls into the airport category. But in Fiesta crowd, you can't do that because the pileup that happens behind you and the mayhem that it causes. Just be a good Fiesta type. If you've reached your locale, step aside. That's all we're asking. Just step aside. And our lives will be 100 times better. Normally,
this seems like when people stay in the right lane to go, and they're the first car in the right lane, and they're going straight. You know what I'm saying?
You want to turn right, get in the other lane. Yeah, especially in a turn in the double turn lane.
You can't, and like you could turn if you were right there.
Yeah,
but the car in front of you is going straight.
There's a couple of lights around. It's that. Just know your locale. I'm not saying that you have to step out of the way. Just get out of the stream, those little currents that happen inside of a crowd. I've already run into it twice where you're behind, and it's normally 3 or 4 women that are like, and they stop, and you're like, hey, no, we got this train is moving. I'm going to Frontier Town. You can't just pull over. You got to get off the lane. There's a little bit of Fiesta etiquette.
Okay, this is a better grievance than your people stink one. That was weird.
Oh no, not stink. Sticky. Don't sticky. Ugh. I don't want sticky. I don't want sticky arm run up against me.
Getting too close to people though.
Well, it's such as life in Fiesta. I mean, it's coming, and luckily it's going to be a little bit cooler. It'll warm up by the time we reach the crescendo that is Friday and Saturday when we hit back to 90s. But early week it won't be so bad. But Saturday, Thursday, Friday, little sticky, little sweaty, little wash your feet. Put I don't know. I'm talking way too much about the feet, but I had some unfortunate experiences over the weekend.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate you would be talking about feet this much.
And while you're standing there, you look down like, oh my God, there's a I don't know, man. I don't even know what to describe some of the things I saw. Any other grievances or any answers on how to remove Cascaroni confetti from strange and random places?
My last grievance is that we don't have a good show happening right now across society. Like, there's not something that everyone's watching. I need that to be here. I want something.
I have one for you.
10-pole thing.
It's not great, but it's a slow burn. Have you watched Ripley?
No, Rob. No,
it's a slow burn. People are interested. It's the number one show on Netflix.
I've heard good things about Shogun. I don't know if you want to give this a
whirl. I tried Shogun. It's actually very good.
But
it has subtitles, and I can't stay focused on the screen. No, I've been, and at some point I will. I know my son is very much into it, but I know it's not I kind of hope they would fade into English. So it's a lot of subtitles.
Are you sure you're watching the right one?
Yeah, I mean, there's English. I mean, there's an English speaking part of it, but there's a lot of subtitles.
Wow. So your grievance is reading?
Well, no. But I'm not against the reading part. It's just that I don't want to have to always read. I'd like to be able to look down at. I got to play as my Candy Crush.
I think that's fair, actually, because what I didn't like about Game of Thrones was it was such an intense show that you couldn't look down at your phone for 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have missed something. So I need that flexibility to be able to look down and know that I'm not missing important plot details. That's a good rebound by you. Good job cleaning up that glass.
The size of the Fiesta cups is going to be an ongoing problem. Because there's some of us that for the last 40 years we collect those cups for reasons. Too small now. But that's neither here nor there. And I don't want your medal all the time. Just because you have them doesn't mean I want them. Wow. Don't just walk up to me and hand me your medal.
This is a grouchy grievance session.
Well, no, it's just one of those things. There's other people that probably want them. If I'm not asking for them, I probably don't want it. You want a medal? All right. I mean, I've been to 3 different things, and people are. Hey, you want my medal?
I want you to not be uncomfortable. That's why I'm.
That's basically it. I didn't ask for it, did I? And I really don't have one to trade. So don't just assume that I want your medal.
Wow.
If I want it, I'll ask for it. And I get it. I mean, there's some really cool ones, whether they're corporate or not. I appreciate the design. And if I like it, I'll ask for it. You don't have to come on, hey, you want my medal? No.
I know where you're at. I have your card.
Yeah, that's kind of try. Now, Alyssa said try Fallout. I did, and it is good.
Are you aware of what this is based on, Rob?
I've played the game. Yes,
That I don't believe whatsoever. You've played the game?
Well, I've seen it played.
Okay,
the game has been downloaded into my home. I've seen it.
Okay. The game has crossed your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm of the digital arts.
Okay. I'll think about. I actually so I had started The Crown recently, and I watched another episode over the weekend. But this isn't a tentpole event. It's just something I'm experiencing.
No, there's not a tentpole show going right now.
I'm going to say this right now. Episode 2 of The Crown, like literally episode 2 from the very beginning, the second episode ever, is among the greatest episodes of television I've ever seen. It was so good.
Wow. And you're early on in this thing.
Yep.
Episode 2.
Very, very good.
I thought you had started it earlier than that. I tried it. I spent the weekend flat on my back because I'd kind of twinged it. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? But instead of watching all these playoff basketball games, which are thrilling, I'm going to do myself a favor and I'm going to catch up on Survivor. And I opened up and I saw that I had 7 episodes. So I didn't catch up on Survivor.
Do it. Yeah. And they're each like 2 hours long.
No, I did not.
There's no way.
You notice the picture of Edwin there in the top left corner because he's having to give us sign language. We only have approximately 40 seconds to go in the airing of grievances. You can continue to do so. Throw it up there at 656-3776. You can type it and we'll let it scroll all day long. Any passing forward words for a brilliant Monday?
Drink water.
Yes, that's an appropriate term.
Eat things that make you happy.
On sticks.
Get a lot of work done. And don't forget to rest. When you're done, rest.
And carbo
You
load.
deserve it.
Yeah, it's a Fiesta Monday. We'll see you down on the river for the river parade. And if you got a stick in your hand, it better have a piece of chicken and a freshly shorn jalapeno right on the top. It's been a Fiesta version. Thanks for hanging with us today. Hey, the Blitz is just a couple of hours away. Y'all be cool. We'll see you tomorrow.
When you think San Antonio